Chapter 2008. At the foot of the mountain, it was just that they couldn't fly, and there was also the pressure of gravity. As they climbed up, the gravity became heavier and heavier, and it was difficult to even lift their feet. Moreover, the higher they went, the more difficult it was to mobilize their spiritual power. It seems that spiritual power can be suppressed here. Yinya was so tired that he was panting. If you pay more attention to training your body and don't rely too much on sound attacks, it won't be so tiring. Fei was much better than him, but it was a little difficult for him to speak. That's right, brother Yinya. You usually play too well, so you need to train your body. Fushi said meaningfully without panting. Yinya's mouth twitched. It was fine if it was Fei, but why did this little guy look so much better than him? Fushi snickered in his heart. A large part of the strength of his body now was due to Sima Yu's lightning. At that time, he felt pain, but now he realized the benefits. Another part of it was the dragon god's power that was tempering his body. Although it was relatively slow, over time, the strength of his body would definitely not be comparable to that of an ordinary person. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were much more relaxed. Both of them were souls and were cultivating the soul refining art, so the pressure didn't make them very tired. The most relaxed ones were Huan, Black Shadow, and Mou. Mou seemed to have a way to resolve the gravity, but Huan and Black Shadow ignored it directly because it didn't affect them at all. Yinya and the others were envious. The snow mountain wasn't high, but it took them more than half a day to reach it. Chanjiu and the others who were waiting there were almost impatient. If it wasn't for the fact that he was familiar with her underworld power, he would have done Sima Yue on the spot. He condensed a few bubbles in his palm, and the bubbles grew bigger and bigger until Yue and the others were all inside. Let's go. He waved his hand and the bubbles flew up. Sima Yue and the others flew into the cold smoke in the bubble. He couldn't see anything inside, only a hazy mist. She tried to use her divine sense and found that the cold smoke would suppress her divine sense, and she couldn't detect anything more than 100 meters away. If there was no one to lead the way and he passed through the cold mist, he would only get lost. Yue, there are a lot of white bones below. Fushi looked at the white bones on the ground and called out to Sima Yue. They were not flying high. Sima Yue looked down and saw piles of bones on the ground. These are the people who tried to reach Nine Phantom Mountain. Chanjiu said coldly. Maybe these people are really looking for you? Sima Yue thought of her mother. Did she almost become one of them? The cold smoke will reflect the inner thoughts of these people. If they only came to ask for help, someone would guide them out. If they had bad intentions, there would be no one to guide them. Whether he can stay or leave will depend on his luck. What about my mother? Sima Yue asked. Yao Lao said that my mother came here a few years ago. Were you the ones who let her out? A few years ago? Chanjiu thought for a while and said, very few people came here in the past few hundred years. I remember that only one woman came. But that was the Lord who went to see her. We didn't see her. Lord. Could it be her grandmother? You will see her when you get there in a while, Chanjiu said. The Lord sent a message to bring you there directly when you arrive. Oh. Sima Yue replied and stared at the white bones below in silence. From Chanjiu's words, her grandmother was most likely a High Lord. What she couldn't understand was why she married the Ghost King and left the palace. Yao Lao said that her mother was traumatized when she came here. Her grandmother must have said something to her. After flying for a long time, they came out of the cold smoke and came to a place with beautiful mountains and clear waters. The bubble burst when they came out. Luckily, they reacted quickly and steadied themselves, not falling down. They continued forward, flying through a large forest, and then following a river. The river was filled with lotus flowers, similar to the ones on her back. They followed the river into the mountain, and came to the foot of the mountain. Chanjiu brought them down. We can't fly at the back. We can only walk up. Sima Yue looked up at the sky that reached the clouds and said, Is this the 9th underworld mountain? Yes. Just looking at this mountain makes one feel awe. It is indeed the 9th underworld mountain. Bandit 1 looked at the 9th underworld mountain with reverence. This was the place where the true ruler of the ghost world lived. It had an ancient heritage that made people feel awe. Let's go. The Lord is waiting, Chanjo said and walked to the front. The people who followed him out dispersed and went to do their own things. They walked halfway up the mountain and went around to the back. They saw many houses scattered on the mountain. Chanjo brought her to the house at the top. It was very quiet along the way, as if there was no one in those houses. Usually, everyone is cultivating or dealing with their own matters, Chanjo explained. Sima Yue looked at him and realized that although this guy was cold, he had a good heart. They came to the main hall. The servant girl who was guarding outside bowed to Chanjo and said, "Right, emissary, the Lord wants you to bring people in directly. Only Miss can go in, the rest please follow me." Sima Yue nodded at them, and they left with the servant girl. Another servant girl led them in. Sima Yue sized up the place without leaving a trace. It was very grand and simple. In the main hall, a woman in black was burning incense. Smelling the fragrance, she felt refreshed. The woman felt Sima Yue sizing her up and raised her head to look at her. Sima Yue finally knew who she and her mother inherited their looks from. The woman in front of her was 40% similar to her, but her makeup and arrogant gaze made it less similar. If one didn't look closely, they wouldn't be able to see the similarities. "Lord, right emissary and miss are here," the servant girl said. "Greetings, Lord. The people outside have already been taken care of," Chanjo said. "Thank you for your hard work, right emissary." Chanshan spoke in a cold and arrogant voice, different from Feng Ruyan's languid and casual voice. "This is what I should do," Chanjo responded, and then retreated to the side. "Sima Yue, do you know who I am?" Chanshan looked at Sima Yue and asked. "You are maternal grandmother, right?" Yue greets maternal grandmother. Sima Yue curtsied as she spoke. "I didn't expect that your mother didn't activate the power of her bloodline, but you did." Chanshan waved at her. "Child, let me see your black lotus." Sima Yue walked over. Chanshan looked at the servant girls, and they pulled a screen over, isolating Chanjo outside. Sima Yue hesitated for a moment and took off her skirt, revealing her back. Chapter 2009. The 9 petals were in full bloom, and each petal was like a completely independent entity, yet they also contained each other. "It's actually the supreme ink lotus," female official Xiao He couldn't help exclaiming when she saw the black lotus on Chan Shan's back. Outside, Chanjo heard her exclamation and looked over in surprise. Thinking that this wasn't good, he quickly averted his gaze. Chan Shan stared at that black lotus and reached out to stroke the petals. Sima Yue's body instantly tensed up. She retracted her hand with an excited expression. The supreme ink lotus, after so many years, it finally appeared again. Sima Yue wasn't used to so many people staring at her, so she turned around and asked, "Are you done? Put on your clothes." Chan Shan's tone was much more cordial. Sima Yue put on her dress properly, and the maidservant removed the screen. "Lord, is it really the supreme ink lotus?" Chan Jiu asked excitedly. "Yes." Chan Shan nodded with a smile. "This is really great." Chan Jiu wanted to tell his clansmen this news, but he remembered that there were still things he hadn't said, so he could only suppress his emotions. "Lord, Mrs. Nether Energy is also different. What's wrong with her nether energy?" "Lord, take a look for yourself." Chanjo didn't know how to describe her nether energy, so it was best to let them see for themselves. Sima Yue released the nether energy in her body, and that familiar aura and pressure made Chan Shan stand up from her seat. This is... She looked at the nether energy in Sima Yue's body. How, Lord, this nether energy isn't. Xiaohe's eyes widened. Could it be that we sensed wrongly? No. This is grandfather's nether energy, Chan Shan said with certainty. She grabbed Sima Yue's hand and asked her, "Why do you have grandfather's nether energy in your body? Where is he now?" "You don't know where he is?" Sima Yue asked. Chan Shan shook her head. "When grandfather disappeared, we couldn't find any traces of him anywhere. We suspected that he was no longer on this continent, but we couldn't find him on other continents either. Old ancestor used to be suppressed in Yilan continent's Dragon Reflection Mountain. Now he's no longer there," Sima Yue replied. She told him about how she met the old ancestor when she was young, how the old ancestor had saved her soul, and how the old ancestor had passed the underworld energy to her. When the people in the room heard this, they were so quiet that they forgot to breathe. After a long time, Chan Shan sighed. Although I guessed it long ago, hearing it with my own ears is another matter. Grandmother, don't be sad, Sima Yue said as she reached out to hold her grandmother's hand. Chan Shan patted her hand. Since the old ancestor has passed the underworld energy to you, he has extended his life to you. Grandmother was not sad. I'm glad that you've brought us hope. The old ancestor said that the Nine Nether tribe will regain its glory in the future. Sima Yue comforted. The ancestor trusts you. Our tribe is now. Chan Shan paused and said, I won't tell you this for now. You'll slowly understand in the future. Chan Jiu, pass down the order that the Supreme Black Lotus has appeared. The entire tribe will return and welcome Yue. Yes. Chan Jiu went out. He couldn't wait to tell the tribe this news. How many years had it been? Finally, a Supreme Black Lotus had appeared. The Nine Nether tribe would all have a black lotus pattern on their backs. The more petals there were, the purer their bloodline power was, the better their talent, and the higher their future achievements. However, no nine-petal black lotus had appeared since some time ago. Even the old ancestor and the High Lord only had 8 petals. He didn't expect that she actually had the Supreme Black Lotus and the old ancestor's underworld energy. With the two together, she could quickly grow up and lead the Nine Nether tribe to glory again. High Lord, I'll go arrange a place for young miss to stay, Xiao He said. All right, clean up the courtyard next to mine, Chan Shan ordered. Yes. Xiao He went out. Only the grandmother and granddaughter were left in the house. Sima Yue sat upright in her seat. She had questions in her heart, but it wasn't good to ask. What do you want to ask me? Chan Shan saw through her thoughts. Sima Yue hesitated for a moment, but still decided to ask her questions. Grandmother, why did you give birth to mother with grandfather? Why did you leave mother behind in the palace? Why did mother return disappointed after coming to the Nine Nether Mountain? Actually, it's not that you don't care about mother, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't know about her and wouldn't know my name the moment you saw me. At the mention of you, Kaluo, Chan Shan's gaze was apologetic and lonely. Your mother hasn't activated her bloodline, so she can't be involved in the matters here. She's not from this world, so it's best to not involve her. Chan Shan said. So, when your mother came that time, I met her outside and told her not to come here again. Mother must have come full of hope. That's why she was so devastated, Sima Yue said. Although I left after giving birth to her, I've always been paying attention to her situation. I saw that the Ghost King doted on her and let her do what she wanted to do. It's enough to know that she's living a good life, Chan Shan said sadly. She only had one daughter in this life. How could she not miss her? But she had her own things to do, so she could only leave her. The Nine Nether clan hasn't appeared for close to 1,000 years. How did grandmother and grandfather give birth to mother? Sima Yue asked. This is also something from the past. The Nine Nether clan once made a promise, and I'm there to fulfill it. Even without me, there will be others. Regarding this, she didn't say much. It was just a transaction back then. Chan Shan walked out. Sima Yue followed. The grandmother and granddaughter walked up the Nine Nether Mountain. Then why hasn't the Nine Nether clan appeared for close to 1,000 years? It's mainly because grandfather went missing. On one hand, we have to look for him, and on the other, we have to fight against the enemies. We're a little powerless. Also, you heard it just now. The Supreme Black Lotus hasn't appeared for many years. Our status has also dropped a lot. Chan Shan looked at her. If you were just an ordinary person like your mother, I wouldn't be telling you all this. But since you have this talent and inherited grandfather's underworld energy, you're destined to walk this path. I know. My soul was saved by old ancestor, and my strength was also given to me by her. So I've never thought of running away from my responsibility. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come here. Sima Yue said. You're a good child. Chan Shan looked at her with a different gaze from before. There was more affection in it. This path will be very difficult. It will be filled with danger and thorns. You have to be mentally prepared. Is it those ancient clans? Sima Yue asked. Seeing Chan Shan looking at her, she pursed her lips and said, Actually, I've seen them all. Net. Chapter 2010. Chan Shan stared at her, knowing that what she saw was not something ordinary. What did you see? The origin. The origin of the 9 Netherworld clan. To be exact, the origin of life. Sima Yue stood at the top of the mountain and looked into the distance. She saw the river flowing out of the 9 Netherworld mountain, and the black lotuses swaying in the wind. I saw how life originated from that river, how it evolved and how it disappeared from there. Of course, I also saw the black lotuses growing from the river. Chan Shan was shocked. Where did you see it? In the Chaos World, in that river. Sima Yue said. Ming said that it was the origin of life, the origin of this world. However, they all left the Chaos World and not many people can go there now. I didn't expect you to go to the Chaos World. It seems like you are indeed a person with luck. Chan Shan was shocked by her fate and felt sorry for her. I know that there are even more powerful worlds in this plane. Although those ancient clans have left, they still have to find a place to stay. I don't know why they left. I think people have forgotten that life originated from the Chaos World. Sima Yue sighed. You are right. Those ancient clans do live in another place. Only a few people know about it. My clan used to have a high status there, but now, Chan Shan's aura changed slightly. There was no need for him to continue. Sima Yue had guessed it. However, a starving camel is bigger than a horse. Although those flies are annoying, they can't really do anything to us. Therefore, you don't have to do anything now. You just have to grow up well. You are our hope in the future. Sima Yue knew that she was too weak now and did not need her to do anything. However, she would need to do something in the future. You can stay in the clan from now on. Here you can get better cultivation resources. I have the underworld energy of the ancestor, so I don't need too much experience to cultivate. What I need to do now is to raise the level of my thoughts. Sima Yue said. If I can't keep up in terms of my knowledge and level, it will be the biggest obstacle to my future cultivation. You are well aware of your situation. Furthermore, I'm going to save my mother. Therefore, I can't stay in the clan forever. Sima Yue said. Your mother's current situation is still alright. You need to increase your own strength. Grandmother, you've seen my mother? Sima Yue was surprised. Didn't they say that no one could enter the place where her mother was imprisoned? Then how did she know that mother's condition was not bad? More than 10 years ago, after I returned to the ghost realm, I went to see her. Chan Shan said, She's my daughter. How could I not care about her? How is mother's situation? You've lost a lot of your sharpness. She was referring to the difference between the two meetings. Perhaps it's because she's a mother that she's restrained her temper. Is she hurt? Were you hurt by the seal? No. It was just that he was trapped there and had no freedom. Other than that, he was fine. Your grandfather changed the seal, so it's fine. Grandfather went? Didn't you say that he couldn't see mother? Back then, one of the conditions for her mother being imprisoned in the abyss of hell was that he couldn't save her. Didn't he go back on the agreement? He went there secretly. He wanted to go there, and the abyss of hell turned a blind eye to it. Chan Shan said, but he couldn't do anything about that ancient seal. He could only let her live a better life. Grandfather pretended not to care about mother. Actually, it's still very good. Sima Yue smiled. Lin said that only I can save mother. Grandfather said that I need to gather the 4 corners divine seal to break that seal. So I'm going to look for the 4 corners divine seal. The 4 corners divine seal is an ancient artifact. With your current strength, you're still unable to activate its power. You're also unable to get close to the place where your mother is imprisoned. That's why grandfather said that he won't tell me the whereabouts of the 4 corners divine seal unless I break through to the underworld paragon level. Sima Yue sighed. But I feel that after I came to the ghost realm, my strength increased too quickly. My realm can't keep up. I need to stabilize myself now. Originally, I wanted to train myself, but because of an accident, I came to this area. Tell me, What have you experienced in the world of spirits and souls? Sima Yue told him about her experience. Growing up to where she was now in a short 10 years was indeed too fast. Chan Shan listened to her story and smiled. It's indeed a little fast. Even with grandfather's underworld power, this speed is still too much. And when you were in the human realm, your strength didn't reach the peak. Your realm is not enough, which will affect you greatly in the future. I plan to go to the hidden sect to study and stabilize myself. Sima Yue said. If they're willing to let me enter. The hidden sect is not a bad place. Chan Shan knew some things about the hidden sect. Seems like you've arranged everything after that. You're just like what they said. You're a very opinionated person with a plan. I was still a little hesitant before, thinking that I would let Mother be imprisoned for a longer time. Now that I know that she's not suffering there, I can go and study in peace. Sima Yue said. I'll send someone to protect you secretly. Sima Yue wanted to say no, but it was impossible. Since they knew that she had awakened the supreme bloodline, the 9th Netherworld clan would not leave her alone. Stay in the clan for a while. Okay. The two of them stood at the top of the mountain. The previously quiet 9th Netherworld mountain was bustling with noise and cheers. It seemed like they knew about Sima Yue's situation. The clan hasn't been so lively in a long time. Chan Shan said, your arrival has brought life to everyone. I thought everyone was as cold as the right emissary. Sima Yue teased. Chanjiu can't go there. He can only stay here to guard 9th Netherworld Mountain. He doesn't meet many people, so his personality has become cold these years. Chan Shan said. Actually, he was much more cheerful in the past. No wonder I felt that he was arrogant and warm-hearted. Sima Yue smiled. Let's go. They're all here. Let's go down and meet them. Chan Shan said. Okay. Sima Yue followed her down the mountain. Before meeting those clansmen, she suddenly asked, Maternal grandmother, is 9th Netherworld Mountain the continent that leads to the other side? Yes. However, only you can take this path. Those without the Black Lotus bloodline will not be able to pass. Chan Shan said. If the others want to go, they can just follow that little boy beside you. He's from that side. Net. Chapter 2011. Sima Yue knew that Fushi was from that world, but she didn't expect that his world was the place Chan Shan was talking about. That child is the holder of the Dragon God token. He has a very important position there. Chan Shan said. It's rumored that he won't live for long, but it looks like he's in pretty good condition now. Did you help him resolve the problem? Yes. It seemed that Fushi was a very famous person there, which also meant that his position was high. Otherwise, the people over there wouldn't have ignored the great temptation of the Dragon God token and let him live until now. However, she didn't want to care about the matters over there right now. What she needed to do now was to settle down and improve herself. Lord! Lord! The 9 Netherbird clan's people ran over and excitedly surrounded them. Miss really has the Supreme Black Lotus? Yes. That's really great. There's hope for our clan's revival. I thought that Lord Right Emissary was joking with us just now. I didn't expect it to be true. Lord, Miss is your granddaughter, right? Will she be our Miss in the future? Yue will be our clan's young lord in the future. Chan Shan said. Do you have any objections? No, of course not. Not only us, but the other clansmen also won't have any. After so many years of waiting, we've finally gotten it. That's right. In the future, Miss will be our young lord. Lord, can we feel the power of the Supreme Black Lotus? Sima Yue discovered that although Chan Shan was still cold and arrogant when she was with her clansmen, there was still some doting in her eyes. She loved her clansmen, right? It was just that she had too many things to deal with, which made her seem cold and aloof. Hearing her clansman's request, Chan Shan turned to look at her, seeking her opinion. Sima Yue was infected by their emotions, and the corners of her lips curled up. Why not? She mobilized her spiritual energy, and the black lotus on her back started to burn, emitting a dazzling golden light. It's really the Supreme Black Lotus. I can feel it. I can feel it. Such pure pressure. It's really. Many people cried tears of joy. After waiting for so long, there was finally hope. Young lord. Young master. Don't be like this. You'll scare her. Chan Shan said. Yue is already here. We can talk later. My lord, we are going to hold a celebration. We have to celebrate that we have a young master. All right. That night, a celebration was held at the foot of the Nine Nether Mountain. Sima Yue felt their enthusiasm and joined them. Wu Lingyu and the others were also invited as young master's friends. In the latter half of the night, Sima Yu and Wu Lingyu secretly left the banquet. Did you see their expressions when they found out about our relationship? You really want to eat me up. Wu Lingyu looked at her pitifully. Hee, they obviously wanted to tear you into pieces. Sima Yue laughed so hard that she bent over. They think I'm not good enough for you. Wu Lingyu sighed. Sigh, I'm being despised. Didn't he accept you after that? That's because he knew that I followed you here. He didn't want to chase me away. The ending is good. Don't worry about the process. Sima Yue laughed as she kissed his neck. Those people only accepted him because they knew how much he had done for her. The main reason was that she liked him and had decided on him. They couldn't do anything about it. Moreover, he was very strong. Some of the young men in the clan were not convinced and challenged him to a duel. In the end, he won in a few moves. After they came down, she asked him why he didn't go easy on them. He raised his eyebrows. If I don't show them how strong I am, will they be willing to hand you over to me? All right, the weak would be looked down upon. How long do you plan to stay here? Wu Lingyu hugged his waist. The two of them looked at each other. I'll stay here for 2 months. I just met grandmother. I still want to spend more time with her. If I leave, I don't know when I'll be able to see her again. Sima Yue said. But if the insect doesn't want me, then it's not certain. We're so talented. They won't abandon us. Those sects are up to us to choose. Wu Lingyu said narcissistically. Pfft. Narcissistic. Sima Yue laughed. I'm going to learn sound attacks. What are you going to learn? I'll learn whatever's closest to you. Wu Lingyu said. All right. With you by my side, I'm not afraid of anything. Sima Yue said and kissed him on the lips. After that, Sima Yue gradually familiarized herself with the matters of the Nine Netherbird clan. She understood their history and techniques. When Chan Shan was free, she would accompany him to talk and chat. When she talked about him, she would walk around the clan. When she talked about the Phone People's clan land, the Nine Netherbird clan had fewer people. It didn't feel like a big clan. No matter what the people in the clan were doing, they would stop what they were doing when they saw her and greet her warmly. Sima Yue would also stop to talk to them for a while and feel their lives. Yan Jin looked at these people who lived peacefully and said, I always thought that the real ruler of the ghost realm would be very arrogant. Looking at it now, the average person is more down to earth. It's indeed different from what we thought, Fei Yi said. But there's one thing that we didn't think wrongly. These people are indeed very strong. Even the average clansman can cultivate faster than others. The Nine Netherbird bloodline is indeed powerful. It's not like we didn't gain anything this time. Although we didn't get the ancient war soul, we saw the bone flute and the Nine Netherbird clan. It's not bad. Yan Jin said. Yue said that we should leave here and go to the hidden sect. To be honest, the environment of the hidden sect will cause a lot of trouble if we go there. The hidden sect doesn't care about the matters between the disciples. We still have to tell her beforehand. Fei Yi said. Don't worry. She guessed it long ago. Yan Jin was not worried. She's such a smart person. She knows even if we don't mention it. However, she doesn't care about it either. Even if it's us, we might not be able to win if we fight her alone. Not to mention those who are still in the hidden sect. Anyone who dares to provoke her will be tortured by her. That's true. Sigh, it's a pity that we've already finished our apprenticeship. We don't have much time in the hidden sect. We can't see how she can turn the hidden sect upside down. Fei Yi chuckled. Tell me, how can there be such a person like her in this world? Some people are born in accordance with the times. These people are created by the heavens. Yan Jin was implying something. After saying that, the two of them fell into silence. They just looked at Sima Yue, who was talking to the clansman. 2 months later, Sima Yue said goodbye to Chanshan and the clansman, and prepared to leave. The clansman sent her to the teleportation array reluctantly, and asked her to come back often. Chanshan walked over and placed a box in Sima Yue's hands. Net. Chapter 2012. These are the things I prepared for you. I've also recorded how to use them. Chanshan said. You can use the other things as you wish, but don't drop one of them. There's an array inside that can directly return to the clan. No matter where you are, under any circumstances, you can use it to return directly. Sima Yue held the box, not knowing what was inside, but the array was very precious. No matter where you were, it could be used under any circumstances, which meant that it was very powerful. Even if the space was sealed, it could still be used, which showed how powerful it was. If she were to encounter a situation where she was surrounded by more than 10 old fellows, she would not have to think about going to the spirit pagoda, but could use it to return. This was equivalent to having an extra life. And she said that there were instructions to use it, which meant that there were many things inside. That was true. When she went to the treasury this time, she saw many treasures, just a few of them were already very heavy. Thank you, grandmother. She kept the box. The secret sect does not appear in the world. I won't ask about its location. The transportation array will send you to the outside of the triangular region, then you can go to the secret sect. Chanshan said. All right. Her action made Yanjin and Fei Yi feel very comfortable. If she wanted to ask about the secret sect's location, it was impossible that they would not tell her. This way, although she would have to go there herself, there would not be a difficult process. Chanjiu will be your guard in the future. He will protect your safety. Sima Yue thought of the scene where Chanjiu shouted at those old fellows to retreat, then imagined him following by her side as a guard. The corners of her mouth twitched, and she declined. Right emissary is going to be my guard? Isn't that too much of a waste? Chanjiu is powerful and has strong battle power. Let him go to your side. There's no need to arrange so many people around you. Chanshan said. Or do you prefer that? Sima Yue opened her mouth but finally agreed. As long as right emissary doesn't feel wronged. Protecting young master's safety is the most important. Chanjiu said. Alright, this meant that he was going to come too. She really felt that it was a waste of talent for such a noble person to be her guard. After giving some instructions, Sima Yue and the rest used the transportation array to leave 9th Underworld Mountain. Chanjiu was added to the group. After coming out of the teleportation array, they identified the direction and went to the nearby city. They knew where they were now. I'm leaving, Mou said before entering the city. You're going to the hidden sect to study. I won't follow you. The main reason he followed her was to find Fuxi, and then to protect her in the little world. Now that she was going to study, there was no need for him to follow her anymore. All right. When you return to the imperial capital, tell your cousins that you're safe. He must be anxious now that the little realm has collapsed. Sima Yue said. Leave a sound stone behind. I'll give it to him directly. Mou said. All right. Sima Yue ran to the side and left the words she wanted to say in the sound stone. Then she handed the sound stone to Mou. The people of the hidden sect have a messy background. There are people from all 3 regions of the world of spirits and souls. After you enter, don't think about keeping the peace if you encounter any trouble. After all, you are the Ghost King's granddaughter and the young master of the 9 Netherbird clan. I know. Don't you know my personality? Sima Yue did not want to make things difficult for herself. These 2 children are really troublesome. Leave them to someone else. The Ghost King and the 9 Netherbird clan will take good care of them. Don't let their kindness bring trouble. I understand. Also, Mou reminded them before opening the space and leaving. Sima Yue felt that he was much more naggy to his own clan members. Haixing and Haishi were very quiet. They were afraid that Sima Yue would suddenly send them away. Although they could cultivate in other places, they wanted to stay by Sima Yue's side. They only trusted her. However, they knew that they were troublesome, so they did not dare to hope that she would always bring them along. They could only wait for her to make her own decision. Luckily, Sima Yue did not say anything about letting them leave. Only then did they feel relieved. How are we going to the hidden sect? Sima Yue asked. Is there a teleportation array? That's too far. It will consume a lot of array stones. Also, the space near the hidden sect is more chaotic. We can't use arrays, Fei said. We have to use the teleportation array to go to a nearby place, and then fly back. Is it so troublesome? Then isn't it inconvenient for you to go back every time? If you encounter any danger, you won't be able to go back in time, right? Yanjin and Fei laughed when they heard her words. In the ghost world, no one will provoke the hidden sect. It's the uncrowned king of the ghost world. Provoking it is equivalent to making an enemy of the 3 regions of the ghost world, Fei said. Also, how can a place that can cultivate so many disciples be trampled on? That's true. However, I quite admire the leader of the hidden sect for setting such a rule. This is similar to an outstanding school. On one hand, it cultivated talents for the ghost world. On the other hand, it gave the hidden sect a supreme position in the ghost world. They entered the city and passed through the teleportation array a few times before arriving at the place that Fei mentioned. At the same time, Mou returned to the imperial capital and went to see Dija. When he reached the general's residence, Yuanwan was also there. She was crying sadly in front of Dija. It was all her fault. Why did she have to tell Sima Yue about Gu Zhanhuan? If she hadn't gone to look for her, she wouldn't have gone. She wouldn't have encountered the collapse of the space and her life and death would not be unknown. You're all here. Just nice. I've informed you all together. Mou came out of the space. Dija and Yuanwan looked over. Where's Yue? Yuanwan stood up from the chair and looked at Mou nervously, afraid that he would bring bad news. Even Dija didn't care about him and ran directly to his general's residence. Here, this girl gave it to you. Mou took out the sound stone and threw it to Dija. He found a seat and sat down. Dija injected spiritual power, and Sima Yue's voice came from inside. Cousin, I'm very good now. I came out of the space and came to the enclosed triangular area. Now that I'm out, I'm preparing to go to the Yin sect to see if I can join the Yin sect to learn. Cousin, how's Cousin Wanwan? I don't know if they went out before the space collapsed. If she's fine when you see her, tell her that I'm very good now. I've already collected Gu Zhanhuan. Speaking of which, it was so smooth because of Yan Qi's help. In addition, I've also collected the evil soul under Qi He. It's now in my 100 Ghost banner. Actually, I'm most worried about my grandfather. When I went to the Mo clan this time, I gave him some water from the chaotic world. I don't know if it can help him understand the natural law. I didn't see him this time when I went back. If he has any matters, you should contact me. You should know how to find me. Time is of the essence. You can ask Mou about our matters. He will tell you. Net. Chapter 2013. She didn't say much, but she explained her route clearly. Listening to her voice, her condition was better. There shouldn't be any problems. Did you all get out before the space collapsed? Yuanwan asked. No. When we were about to reach the exit, the space collapsed. Mou answered her. Luckily, it was at the exit. The space in the small realm was getting weaker, so everyone was seriously injured and fell into the triangular area. Mou also gave a rough account of what happened later on. Everything was described very simply, but it still made them feel the thrill of it. Now, she followed Yanjin and the rest to the Yin sect to stabilize herself. According to her, she improved too quickly after entering the ghost world and couldn't reach her realm. Also, she relied too much on external forces. She needs to control her own rhythm and improve her realm. It's not bad if she can go to the Yin sect, Yuanwan said. After she entered the ghost world, she kept thinking about saving Aunt and pushed herself too hard. Dija supported her choice. However, Yanjin from the Soul Society isn't a good person. Fei Yi's reputation in the Soul Society isn't good either. Nothing will happen to them if they follow Yue, right? Are you afraid that they will lead her astray? Mou wasn't worried at all. It's good enough if she doesn't lead others astray. The background of the people in the Yin sect is messy, I say you're her cousin? Why do I feel like you're her aunt? Mou interrupted her impatiently and said, worrying about this and that. It's unbearable to be an old woman. Deja choked back his words. He was so angry that his face turned red. Mou, don't think that I'll acknowledge you just because you're Yu's friend. If you dare to come to the general's residence like this again, I'll beat you out, he shouted. TSKU? Can you beat me? Mou sneered and looked down on him. You can try. Deja slammed the table. He was so angry that his head was about to explode. Deja, do you think that I won't do anything to you just because you're the general? Mou's eyes were filled with disdain. If you didn't acknowledge me, would you let Yua ask me to join you? When did I ask you to join me? I just don't want you to side with Anaheim. Doesn't that mean the same thing? How can they be the same? Of course. Yuan was surprised to see the two of them quarreling here. This Lord Mou is different from the rumors. Well, Deja looks different from usual. The two men could even quarrel. She really had to hand it to them. Seeing that they were about to fight, she got up and left. Sigh, what a childish man. Diwu stood at the door. When he saw her coming out, he said, Princess Wanwan, you've left? Yes, let's go. If I don't leave now that I know you are as fine, am I supposed to stay and watch them fight? Hi, they won't fight. Diwu chuckled. He wasn't worried about his master at all. Are they like this every time they interact? Yuanwan asked. Yes. In the past, before the little princess came to the ghost world, they interacted like this. Now that the little princess is here, it's even more impossible for them to fight. Although Master is angered to death by Lord Mou every time, there's a difference in their abilities. Before he could do anything, he would be defeated. That's why Lord Mou gives in to my master every time. Diwu didn't hold back when he ridiculed his master. Yuanwan looked at Deja, who was standing at the door, and looked at Diwu sympathetically. She smiled and said, Take care. Before leaving, Diwu saw that something was wrong with her eyes before she left. Before he turned around, he felt the cold air behind him. Finished. He was caught red-handed for speaking ill of her. Diwu wanted to cry. Why was he so unlucky? Princess Wanwan too. She didn't even give him a reminder. Master. Diwu turned around and looked at the furious Deja carefully. He wanted to cry but had no tears. He thought that Deja would punish him severely. However, Deja only looked at him and left in big strides. Master's personality has changed? He's actually not punishing me. Diwu looked at Deja's back view in confusion. Weren't the two of them quarreling just now? Why did he come out in the next second? This isn't in line with Master's usual behavior. He saw Mou coming out, and was even more puzzled. Leaving Mou here was even more out of line with his character. Mou saw Diwu and said approvingly, Not bad. Not bad what? Of course, it was him who spoke up for justice, and dared to clear his master's name. Diwu looked at Mou pitifully and asked, Lord Mou, where is my master going? Will he come back to deal with me later? Don't worry, he doesn't have the energy to deal with you now. Mou's words made Diwu feel more at ease. At the same time, he was worried for him. Did something happen? I just let him have the energy to quarrel with me. Why don't he go and check on the king? Then he left. So simple? So simple. After Mou finished speaking, he left leisurely. Simple? I'm afraid it's not simple. He didn't expect this brat to do such a thing, and let the Ghost King use the chaos water to go against heaven. Did she know how big of a commotion this would cause in the ghost realm? Even the entire situation in the ghost realm would change. It could even be said that the entire world would change. Emperor was no longer an unreachable dream. What a daring lass. Sima Yue followed Yanjin and Bandit 1 on the flying beast for over 10 days before they arrived at a small town. We're here. Yanjin ordered the flying beast to descend, and the few of them stopped outside the small town. This is the hidden sect? Sima Yue looked at the small town. There were at most a few hundred to 1,000 people. The hidden sect was so small? This is just the main entrance. Bandit 1 explained. At the end we can't casually use the flying beasts. We can only use the flying beasts here. Furthermore, the people who come and go can only wait here to be notified. Then do we have to wait here to be notified too? Speaking of which, yes. Alright then. The people here won't bully us, right? Who dares to bully you? Bandit 1 chuckled. But I have to tell you something first. The sect doesn't care about fights between fellow sect members. However, outsiders who bully the people in the sect are not allowed here. They will be attacked together. You guys aren't from the sect now, so you can't create trouble here. Alright then. Sima Yue pouted. She didn't provoke others and others didn't provoke her either. This way, everyone would be at peace. Net. Chapter 2014. Her thoughts were beautiful and simple. But she also knew that if she didn't look for trouble, trouble wouldn't necessarily let her go. So when trouble came, she wasn't surprised but helpless. She was very low-key, so she stayed in the only inn here, waiting for Yenju to go back first, and then come to pick them up. It would take 2 or 3 days to go back and forth, so they could wait in the inn. Who knew that as soon as Yenju left, trouble would come? The cause was very simple. It wasn't the trouble brought by Hai Shi and Hai Xing. It was just because a pervert saw Sima Yue and saw that they were outsiders, so he wanted to take advantage of them. But he was kicked away by Wu Lingyu. The originally quiet town suddenly exploded. What the F***ck, someone dared to hit the people in the gate here. How many years has it been? Is there really such a person? He's too bold. Not bad. Let's go and see. If the people in the gate can't beat them, will you help? TSK, the one who was kicked away is the pervert from the beast taming gate. Who will help him? Then are you going to help the people outside? No, it's not in accordance with the rules. Then what are you going to do? I'm going to watch the show. See how that pervert is beaten up. Let's go. Didn't you say you won't go? When did I say I won't go? Then why are you asking me so much? It's fun. This man is really annoying. The two left the tea house and went to the scene of the incident. The other tea drinkers noticed them. Isn't this Kanan Xian and Konoha-chi? They haven't appeared for a long time. Why are they here? I haven't seen this pair of clowns for a long time. I miss them. That's not right. Konoha-chi is the only clown, but Kanan Xian is not. He is the dream lover of all the girls in the gate. Kanan Xian's temperament has frozen your young hearts into ice, right? Tisk, although he is cold and unapproachable, it can't hide his charm. We just need to see him from afar. You love-struck girls. Sigh, I'm really envious of the women in the formation school. They get to see him often. I think you're also a fake love-struck fool. Your dream lover has already left. Why don't you chase after her? My idol is too cold. I'd better watch from afar. That's why you're a hypocrite. Sima Yue looked at the situation in front of her with a headache. The person who was kicked to the ground had yet to get up, but the crowd had already surrounded the place. It was to watch the show and to prevent them from escaping. She looked at Wu Lingyu resentfully. Couldn't she have just endured it a little? If you continue to tolerate it, his smelly claws will land on you. Wu Lingyu snorted coldly. He did not feel that he had done anything wrong. Yes, if Big Brother Lingyu doesn't kick him away, I'll let him have a taste of the dragon's breath that I learned. Fushi also snorted coldly, saying, It's not like we can't beat these people. It's not about whether we can win or not, it's about the trouble. Sima Yue said helplessly. Don't be afraid. You're not someone who's afraid of trouble. Fushi waved her fist. I'm not afraid of trouble, but I don't like trouble. Sima Yue's head hurt. There are so many people, are we going to beat them all up? So that more people would be attracted here? Then tell them that we want to join them? I think we'll be sent flying before we can even say that. How can we say that we want to join them? That's true. Fushi's little face scrunched up. Forget it. We've already beaten him up. She did not like trouble, but she was not afraid of it. Moreover, she had already planned to send this person flying if he touched her. Wu Lingyu had only done what she wanted to do in advance. That fatty got up from the ground. Immediately, people surrounded him and showed him all sorts of concern. Looks like we've beaten up someone with a strong background. Sima Yue said faintly. In this kind of place where geniuses gathered, those who could make them curry favor with those who had a strong background, especially those who had a high status in the secret sect. Indeed, after those people helped the lecherous fatty up, someone immediately started to threaten Wu Lingyu. Qingkai is the grandson of vice sect leader Qing. How dare you beat him up? You're all tired of living. I think they're tired of living. Young Master Qingkai, should we go and exterminate them directly? Why would we need to do that? Let's just release the underworld beast and stomp them into meat patties. That's a good idea. This time, the way those people were stomped into meat patties was pretty good. Indeed, the people who love to stir up trouble are always the juniors of the sect leader, vice sect leader, elders and stewards. Those people were talking nonstop. Sima Yue shook her head. Don't tell me there aren't any other tricks? Because only people with such backgrounds dare to do whatever they want in the sect. Wu Lingyu said. That's true. But there are exceptions. Many people are still very good. Fushi felt that he was the exception. Look at how well-behaved and obedient he was. He had never done things like snatching beauties, nor had he ever taken liberties with decent women. He didn't even want to bother with those women. Now that he saw with his own eyes this kind of fat, big-eared lecherous person who used his power to bully others, he felt that he was really a good boy. Sima Yue saw his narcissistic look and couldn't help but poke his forehead, reprimanding him. With your small body, what can you do to women? If you want to commit a crime, you must have the body to commit a crime. Do you understand? I will have it. Umph. Fushi was being laughed at. At this moment, he suddenly had an idea. Should he wait until his body grew up and do something like snatching beauties? He didn't know if that man would chase him to the ends of the earth if he snatched the woman beside him. Qingkai and all the people from the Beast Tamer sect were furious. They had already revealed his identity, but these people actually ignored them and continued to laugh. This was a provocation. A naked provocation. At the same time, it also showed that they didn't care about them and the secret sect at all. This was also an insult to them. Call out the divine beast that we tamed a few days ago and show them what we're capable of. Someone suggested. All right. Qingkai took out a small cage with a pseudo-underworld beast nestled inside. When it saw Qingkai, it subconsciously shrank its body. Go, if you stomp these people into meat patties, I'll stop your daily fire punishment. Qingkai said as he opened the cage. When the underworld beast heard his words, it ran out without hesitation. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Divine beast? Looks like we're being looked down upon. Net. Chapter 2015. A divine beast wanted to deal with them. Wasn't this looking down on them? Yue, let me deal with this little b****. Fushi's small body stepped forward. The divine beast in front of him transformed into its original form. Fushi was only the height of its foot. It was comical no matter how one looked at it. Qingkai and the rest laughed. A small child wanted to deal with such a large divine beast? Little fellow, don't think that the divine beast won't kill you just because you're small. You've only been in this world for a few days, right? If you die so young, you won't be able to see this great world. Yes, little fellow. You'd better step aside obediently. We'll make it leave your corpse intact later. Fushi was very unhappy. He was being discriminated against by these people. He decided to knock this fellow down with one punch and give these people a good shock. However, before he could do anything, the divine beast in front of him moved first. Furthermore, it turned around in surprise. It cried out loudly and looked at Qingkai. Their gazes were filled with hatred. Then, under the shocked gazes of the group, it stomped on Qingkai. Qingkai and the rest did not expect the divine beast to attack them. Hence their reaction was a beat slower. Even though they managed to dodge the huge foot, they were still hit by the wind brought about by the divine beast. A few of them were injured. When the members of the secret sect saw this, they were first shocked and then burst into laughter. The beast-taming sect had lost a lot of face this time. The beast that they had tamed did not attack the enemy, but attacked their own people instead. This matter was enough to make the beast-taming sect unable to raise their heads for a few years. Fushi was also very surprised. He turned around to look at Wu Lingyu and the rest, wondering if they had secretly done something. We didn't do anything. This person's method of taming the beast is extremely cruel, and this divine beast has not been completely tamed. Now that it has regained its freedom, all the hatred in its heart has surged forth. Sima Yue explained to him. Roar. The underworld beast let out the most primitive roar and raised its huge foot to stomp on Qingkai and the rest. Qingkai and the rest dodged pathetically on the ground. The attack that did not hurt or itch did not slow down its movements. Sima Yue looked at this scene and said, "It seems that the secret sect's words are not true. Although professional masters are weaker than ordinary people, they shouldn't be unable to deal with a mythical beast with so many of them." Too weak, Wu Lingyu echoed. Just now he did not use much strength in his kick, but he was still sent flying. This showed that this person's strength was weak. Qingkai is just a good-for-nothing in the Yin sect. How can he represent the Yin sect? A voice came from the rooftop. It seemed that the person was not convinced after hearing what they said. I see. That's more like it. Otherwise it would be too disappointing. Sima Yue said. Why? Do you have high hopes for the secret order? After all, I want to study here. Sima Yue said. Then you probably don't stand a chance. Konoha-chi said. You hit one of our people, so you're making an enemy out of the entire Yin sect. No one will agree. It's okay. You don't have to care about your opinions. Sima Yue said. Oh my, this little girl's tone is not small ignoring the disciples of the secret order. Even if you can enter, you won't have a good life in the future. Our Yin sect does not restrict internal fights. Konoha-chi said. I know. So what? Sima Yue said calmly, not caring about these things. You're really a newborn calf who isn't afraid of tigers. How brave. Now I'm hoping that you can enter the academy. Konoha-chi looked at her. Then we'll have a good show to watch. Then help me solve the problem in front of me first. Otherwise I'll beat up everyone here. If you can't enter the hidden sect because of this, won't you lose some hope? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him. The smile on her face was dazzling. You want me to help you, right? Konoha-chi snorted. No, I don't. Isn't this what you want me to do to show you some fun? If I want to watch a show, how can I not pay the price? Sima Yue shrugged. Hee, what you said makes sense. Konoha-chi said. Nonsense. Kanan Xian snorted. Don't you think it's interesting? If such a person can enter, there will be a lot of fun in the future. Konoha-chi said. Moreover, I really don't like Fatty Qing. This matter has already made the Beast Tamer School unable to raise their heads. If you get involved again, they'll point their spear at you. Puffed. Konoha-chi sneered. You're talking as if there's no such thing, and they're not targeting me. Anyway, they don't like me, so why not make my life easier? Take it easy. I know. Sima Yue's attention was attracted by Qingkai's scream. She looked over and saw a few people dragging him out from under the feet of the mythical beast. Bastard! A loud shout came from the front, followed by a flash of sword light. The sword light had a cold aura and directly pierced through the mythical beast's body. It flew out from its back and went straight for Yue and the others. Wu Lingyu casually waved his hand and stopped it. Roar! The mythical beast raised its head and roared, its voice filled with unwillingness. Puffed! A large amount of blood spurted out from its body. Then the mythical beast fell backward, and its body was split into two from left to right. Yue and the others flew back to avoid its body. What a powerful sword energy. The people from the Yin sect side. But Qingkai is injured, I don't know what will happen. Those people are doomed. The elders of the Beast Tamer School are here. They can't escape death this time. What a pity for such a beautiful woman. The people from the Beast Tamer School saw the people flying over, and couldn't help but cry. Fourth Elder, you're finally here. Young Master Qingkai is injured. The fourth elder of the Beast Tamer School looked at the badly mutilated Qingkai and frowned. Why is he injured so badly? It's all because of those people. They kicked young Master Qingkai away, so he thought of using the mythical beast to kill them. In the end, he was injured by the mythical beast. Fourth Elder, you have to make a decision for young Master Qingkai. The fourth elder looked at Sima Yue and the others. Looking at her beauty, he could roughly guess the whole story. He took out his sword and wanted to kill them. But he also saw how Wu Lingyu dispelled his sword energy and knew that he was a tough nut to crack. Fourth Elder, if I were you, I would bring Fatty Qing Kai back to treat his injuries first. Konoha Chi said. Killing them is a small matter. If Fatty Qing dies, you won't be able to explain it to the vice headmaster, right? Konoha Chi, are you siding with them? The fourth elder said in a low voice. I'm obviously siding with you. Konoha Chi said seriously. Do you think you can defeat them with your strength? Net. Chapter 2016. The Beast Tamer Gates people were angered by Konoha Chi's words. Was he speaking up for them? He was obviously looking down on them. What do you mean? Are you looking down on us? Someone had to say it out loud. Qingkai was stupid, and the people around him were also stupid. The fourth elder was angry and wanted to bite the bullet, but Kane and Exion said softly, Qingkai is dying. Fourth elder, let's hurry up and bring the young master back. Qingcai's servant was about to cry. If the young master died, he would be dead too. The fourth elder finally found a way out. He asked someone to lift Qingkai up, and brought the Beast Tamer Gate people back. Konoha Chi stood on the roof and waved at the people who were watching the show. Alright, everyone can leave now. You really want to help these people? They beat up the people in the gate. Someone said. Konoha Chi raised his chin at that person. Then you want to go with Qingkai? I'll leave. That person turned and left. If it was someone else, they would have beaten them up. But this person was Qingkai, and they were too lazy to stand up for him. He had such thoughts, and so did the others. Thus everyone left. It's settled? I thought there would be a big fight. Fushi said disappointedly. Little girl, you can't like to fight. Konoha Chi said from the roof. I hope you can really join the gate, or else it will be a waste of my yelling. Let's go back. Kane and Exion said and flew back. Konoha Chi quickly chased after her. That person just left like that? He didn't even leave a name or anything. Fushi pouted. Look at these two people, they have an extraordinary aura. And their words have some weight. I think their position in the gate is not low. If we can go in, we will naturally know who they are. If we can't, then we don't need to know. Sima Yue said. That's right, he probably thinks so too. Let's go back to the inn. Although these people didn't cause trouble for us, we beat up their people. I think they won't say anything to us now. They waited at the inn for 3 days, but they didn't see Yanjin and Bandit One. Instead, they saw a few other disciples. We are disciples of the Sound Sect. Young martial uncle asked us to bring you to the mountain. The leader said. Pick us up? Sima Yue sized them up and nodded. Alright, wait a moment. She went to check out of the room and followed these people. The only waiter in the inn came to the counter, threw the cloth on his shoulder onto the counter, and said wickedly, Are we really not going to remind them? Remind me about what? The shopkeeper supported his chin with one hand and closed his eyes. His head was nodding as if he was about to fall asleep. Little Fool was already familiar with this state of his. He directly ignored him and said, Those people are not from the Sound Sect. I think they are most likely from the Beast Taming Sect. They definitely didn't have good intentions when they came to pick him up. Yue, will you be in danger if you follow them? The shopkeeper opened his eyes, yawned, and stretched in an extremely ungraceful manner. Then he picked up the cloth on the counter and threw it onto Little Fool's shoulder. He reprimanded. How many days will they stay here? You keep saying Yue. Are you that close? They don't look like simple people. Instead of worrying about them, why don't you go and work for me? Have you cleaned up the room? Have you cleaned the courtyard? Have you cleaned the tables and chairs? If not, then hurry up and go. Little Fool took the cloth from his head and walked back slowly. No one has stayed in this inn for a few months. What's there to clean? You sleep here all day and only know how to squeeze my labor force. My time is used for cultivation. If you continue to blabber, I will throw you back into the mountain. The shopkeeper threatened. Little Fool immediately changed his attitude when he heard that he was going to be thrown back. He took the cloth and wiped the table beside him. He chuckled and said, Shopkeeper, look at how diligent I am. How can you bear to throw me back? I didn't notice that you were diligent. But I did notice that you were talkative and lazy. If you don't work, you'll be blind. Scram back. The shopkeeper closed his eyes and continued to doze off. Little Fool heaved a sigh of relief. Being able to follow him was something that many people in the sect wanted. He had finally agreed to it after much difficulty. How could he be chased back? However, he really admired these people. If they died like this, it would be such a pity. He hoped that the shopkeeper was right. These people were all very powerful. Sima Yue followed those people and left the town, walking towards the mountains behind. The hidden sect is very big. Every sect has their own sphere of influence. Most of them have mountain peaks as the boundary. Every sect has their own main peak. Together with the surrounding mountain peaks, they form their own area. Our sound sect is smaller than the others, so our place is more remote. The leader was more enthusiastic as he introduced them to the places along the way, and also the matters between the sections. They followed these people and walked for half a day. The more they walked, the more remote they became. They even left those lively mountain peaks and came to a barren place. The sound sect is so pitiful. Fushi looked at the barren mountain and sighed. You guys are too embarrassing to be in such a state. Every sect is very strong. This is based on strength. That person smiled and explained. Sect Master and Junior Master are at the main peak. We can't go there casually. If you go there, someone will come to receive you. Sima Yue and the rest went in without hesitation. After taking a few steps forward, they felt a weak resistance. Then they entered a barrier. Ha ha ha. These people are so easy to fool. Those people even told us to be careful. Those people laughed. Those people are making a mountain out of a molehill. Yes, now that they have entered the Great Barren Mountain, they can forget about coming out. The underworld beasts inside will treat them well. Underworld beasts? You guys are from the beast taming sect? Sima Yue asked. You know that we are from the beast taming sect? You guys knew when you came. Sima Yue said. We were just bored outside and wanted to see what you guys were up to. I didn't expect it to be such a boring trick. Boring trick? Do you know what kind of place the Great Barren Mountain is? That is the forbidden area of the entire hidden sect. There is a barrier left behind by the seniors. As long as you enter, without the secret method of the beast taming sect, you can only wait for death inside. There are piles of divine beasts inside. You guys can wait for death inside. You're saying that we can't get out of this barrier? Sima Yue said as she took a step forward and arrived outside the barrier. Net. Chapter 2017. How is that possible? How did you come out? The people from the Beast Tamer School were astonished when they saw her walk out. What's so difficult about that? Sima Yue took another step back, went in, and then came out again. This boundary was completely useless against her. What did you do? Why can you ignore this boundary? The people from the Beast Tamer School asked. It's not just me, nah. Sima Yue turned around to look at Chanjiu, who also walked out. That's why this is useless. She learned that she was immune to boundaries when she was at the 9th Underworld Mountain. With Mo Lian's bloodline and cultivation method, all boundaries were useless against her. Humph, even if the two of you can come out, it's useless. Those people still have to die, or all of you will die together. So boring. I probably won't be in the mood to play with you. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she suddenly disappeared on the spot. In the next breath, she appeared behind them and kicked them all into the boundary. At the same time, Little Roar opened a button on the boundary to let Fushi, Huan, and the others out. Awoo. The Nether Beast's voice was getting closer and closer, and the expressions of the people from the Beast Tamer School changed. In order to let the Nether Beasts deal with Yue and the others, they placed something here to attract the Nether Beasts. It would make the Nether Beasts go berserk, temporarily lose their rationality, and attack people on sight. Now that the Nether Beasts had come over, weren't they going to deal with them? Let's get out quickly. The boundary here can't do anything to us. The person in the lead shouted, and everyone rushed out of the boundary. However, their secret method seemed to be useless now. No matter how they tried, they couldn't come out. How can this be? There seems to be something wrong with this boundary. Someone said in horror. Fear was contagious. Perhaps he was the only one who was afraid at first, but after he said this, the others also became fearful. If they couldn't get out, then wouldn't they die here today? Let's try again. See if the method is wrong. One person might be a problem with the method, but we can't get out, so how can it be a problem with the method? Despair and fear spread even faster when they saw the figure of the nether beasts. They couldn't care less, and wanted to come out again and again. You don't have to waste your energy. This enchantment is not the enchantment in your door. Ling Yu just prepared it for you. You can enter but not leave, so the underworld beasts can enter. Sima Yue looked at them and said, "You should turn your attention to the battle now." "What? How dare you? TSK, you dare to scheme against us. Why can't we retaliate?" Fushi placed his hands on his waist. "This is called giving you a taste of your own medicine. Enjoy it." Soon, those underworld beasts came over and entered Wu Lingyu's barrier. When they saw the people from the beast taming school, they all attacked. There were so many underworld beasts, and their strength was so strong. These few people were not enough to deal with them at all. They were torn into pieces in a few moves. Starfish and Haishi turned pale with fright, but they forced themselves to watch. If they were not powerful, if Yue did not have Little Roar who could open the enchantment, they would be the ones who would end up like this. Therefore, they could not sympathize with these people. They had to watch carefully and see what would happen if they were not strong enough. Who dares to be impudent in the secret order? A group of people quickly flew over on their mounts. When they saw the broken limbs inside the enchantment, their pupils shrank. "How dare you? How dare you commit murder in public in the secret order and kill our disciples? Today, we must take you down." Sima Yue looked at these dozens of people. They were not weak. Some of them were wearing the same embroidered clothes as Qingkai and the others. "What does your beast taming school want? You lured us here and wanted to kill us. In the end, you found out that your people were dead, so you let the secret order's people come out to deal with it? It seems that your beast taming school is too useless." The Black Shadow's words were full of ridicule, making the people from the beast taming school furious. "No matter what, you killed our people and are going against the secret order. Guard Liao, these people can't be let go. I suggest you execute them." The people from the beast taming school looked at Liao Tsongming, the leader of the secret order's guards who had spoken up first. "I don't care what grudges you have between you. This is the secret order. Killing our disciples in the secret order is going against the entire secret order. According to the secret order's rules, you must be killed without mercy." Liao Tsongming replied, "You're Guard Liao, right? Don't you understand? How are we the ones who killed them? The ones who killed them were clearly the underworld beasts. Besides, we didn't call the underworld beasts here. This is our first time in the secret order. How could we have known that this was the place where the underworld beasts were kept? How could we have let them come here?" Sima Yue refuted. "Even though you have the rules to protect your disciples, how could you have the nerve to push the blame onto us for these suicidal people?" Liao Tsongming furrowed his brows. Her words made sense. Don't try to quibble. If you had not cheated, they would not have been killed by the underworld beasts. Guard Liao, the Vice Order Master has said that we can't keep these people alive. As long as we kill these people, we can reserve one of the tamed sacred beasts for you. Liao Tsongming was a little moved. He had been wanting a sacred beast recently, but it was difficult to tame a sacred beast. Even if one was tamed, it would not be his turn as it would be snatched away by the various order masters, elders, young lords and geniuses. Now that Vice Order Master Qing had said this, wouldn't the sacred beast that he had been longing for be his? However, these people were right. It was obvious that the beast tamer sect's disciples had not planned this out properly. That was why they had been killed instead. They had brought this upon themselves. Guard Liao, there's no need to feel troubled. Regardless of the process, the beast tamer sect's disciples had indeed died because of these people. You're just following the rules. Sima Yue could tell that Liao Tsongming was struggling in his heart. However, in the end he could not resist the temptation. The kindness in his eyes faded and he waved his hand at the guards behind him. "Capture them all. Guard Liao, we'll deal with them on the spot." The beast tamer sect member reminded him. Liao Tsongming glanced at him and corrected himself. Deal with them on the spot. When the guards received the order, they knew that they were very powerful and all of them attacked them. We're here to study. Don't go too far. Just make them unable to move, Sima Yue said. Huan and Heiying received the order and beat all the guards to the ground. They were all lying on the ground unable to move, but their lives were not in danger. Zheng. The sound of zither strings came from all directions. Hearing this sound, the faces of the people present changed. Net. Chapter 2018. Sima Yue and the rest raised their heads to look. A white figure had appeared on the cliff at the side without them noticing. He sat at the top of the mountain with a guqin on his lap. Seeing him, Liao Tsongming and the rest of the beast tamer sect members were a little timid. Sect leader Lu, why are you here? Liao Tsongming bowed to Lu Yan, sighing in his heart. Liao Tsongming, I'm clearly handsome and elegant. Why do you make me sound like an old man? Lu Yan's hands lightly rested on the strings. His voice was elegant, but it made Liao Tsongming's hair stand. This old monster liked to pretend to be elegant, and didn't like people calling him old. However, his status was high, so everyone had to show respect to him. Sect leader Lu, I definitely didn't mean that. You're so young and handsome. How are you old? Liao Tsongming chuckled. Lu Yan didn't want to talk nonsense with him. He looked at the opposite cliff. Vice sect leader Qing, why are you hiding there? Since you're here, come out and chat with us. Everyone's gaze followed him to the opposite cliff. A man who looked very similar to Qing Kai appeared at the top of the cliff. Sect leader Lu, this is the place where our beast tamer sect tames beasts. Why are you here? Vice sect leader Qing didn't feel embarrassed at being exposed. Instead, he questioned him. I heard the commotion, so I came. These people hurt my son. I hope sect leader Lu won't interfere in this matter. These people hurt your son? Wasn't your son hurt by a divine beast that he hadn't tamed? As a beast tamer, he was hurt by a tamed underworld beast. Such a shameful thing. If I were you, I would be in a hurry to cover it up. Why would I come out to find trouble with others? Oh, your son's injury isn't light, right? If you don't guard him and he wakes up and doesn't see you, he'll start crying again. Vice sect leader Qing's face couldn't be any darker. This matter had become a big joke in the secret order. Those who didn't get along with him would seize the opportunity to teach him a lesson. Now the entire beast tamer sect couldn't raise their heads in the secret order. That was why he wanted to kill Sima Yue and the rest. If it weren't for them, his precious son wouldn't be hurt and the beast tamer sect wouldn't be humiliated. When Qing Kai woke up, he couldn't stop crying. It just so happened that a disciple from the pill sect who came to deliver the pills saw this and spread the news. Lu Yan's words were truly mocking the matter of a young girl loving her father. You don't have to worry about my son. Vice sect master Qing snorted coldly. Although these people came with your sect's Yan Qi, they are now facing the death of my sect's people. Are you going to ignore the sect's rules and protect them? Sect rules? What do the sect rules say? No matter how the disciples of the sect interact with each other, if outsiders bully our disciples, we must protect them. This is it. Lu Yan stood up and hugged her zither. This is a matter between the inner sect disciples. Why are you stepping in? Let them deal with it themselves. They're clearly not. When it happened, she was already a disciple of my sect. Lu Yan said, so this is just a matter between the disciples. Us old fellows shouldn't get involved. How is that possible? How could she be your disciple? Vice sect master Qing didn't believe it. Even if you want to protect her, you don't have to find such an excuse. You're challenging the sect rules. Previously, Yan Qi was teaching her cultivation methods. From now on, she will be my little disciple. Lu Yan said. If you don't believe me, Yue, play a song for them to see. Don't play too hard. Sima Yue guessed his identity as soon as he came out. Since he was going to enter the Yin sect, it should be more convenient to be the disciple of the sect master. So she took out her flute and gently blew it. Although her technique was not very skilled, it was indeed the technique of the Yin sect's direct disciples. I will go and ask the sect master for an explanation. Vice sect master Qing finished speaking and left, not looking at these people again. When the people of the Beast Tamer sect saw that their vice sect master had left, they also hurriedly left, leaving behind the corpses that were eaten by the underworld beasts. In the end, not even bones were left. Liao Tsangming was embarrassed. He apologized to Sima Yue and the others. I'm sorry. I didn't know that you were already members of the Yin sect. I've offended you. You also said that you didn't know. Those who don't know are innocent. Sima Yue did not intend to go against everyone. Moreover, Huan and the others had already taught these people a lesson. Liao Tsangming looked at Sima Yue in a higher light. He cupped his hands and left with his people. Only Lu Yan and the others were left here. Did I show up for nothing? Lu Yan said lightly. Without master, it will be more troublesome today. It will be more difficult to enter the Yin sect. Sima Yue said. You changed your mind quite quickly. But you should know why. The smile on Lu Yan's face faded a little. Let's go back to the Yin sect first. Of course Sima Yue knew why. It was because of the bone flute in her hand. They followed her back to the Yin sect. Although those people before had bad intentions, some of what they said was still right. For example, the Yin sect was in a remote place. They passed through many mountain peaks along the way. Those mountain peaks were very lively. When they arrived at the Yin sect, there was only one word to describe it, desolate. Yinya was at the top of the mountain. When he saw them behind Lu Yan, he nodded slightly at them. Where are the others? Lu Yan landed and walked towards the mountain. They are all waiting at the meeting building. Yinya said. Go to the meeting building. He walked in front while Yinya and Sima Yue followed behind him. Why is it him who went? I thought it would be you. Sima Yue said softly. I went to the small town with Grandmaster. After knowing that you were taken away, Grandmaster said he went and asked us to come back and wait. Yinya explained. Grandmaster? He is your master? Sima Yue blinked and asked. Yes. When I entered the Yin sect, Master made an exception and took me in because of my good talent. Master was Grandmaster's eldest disciple. But he has already passed away. Yinya explained. Then according to this, don't you have to call me young martial uncle? Sima Yue pursed her lips and smiled. He said he took me in as his disciple. He actually took you in as his disciple. Yes. Hurry up and call me young martial uncle. Yinya looked at her strangely. He knew that she would not lie. He was a little depressed in his heart. Previously, he thought that no matter what, he would let someone of his master's generation take her in as his martial brother. He did not expect Grandmaster to personally take her in as his disciple. Could it be because she had the bone flute? It should not be. If it was for the bone flute, it would be the same to let someone else take her in. He did not need to do it personally. Moreover, he did not reveal his intention to take her in as his disciple. So it should be a sudden idea. But why? Net. Chapter 2019. Sima Yue didn't know Lu Yan's personality, but he did. He didn't care about the sex affairs these years, nor did he care about the outside world. He focused on studying music, and his personality had become much calmer. There were many people who wanted to be his disciple, and many of them were talented, but he didn't even give them any face. He felt really good about taking Sima Yue in. However, he didn't dare to ask. He could only wait and see if he would find out later. Sima Yue saw that he was in a daze and reminded him. Why are you in a daze? Is it that scary for you to call him Little Uncle Master? No, I was thinking about something just now. Yin Jin said. Little Uncle Master, let's go quickly. Otherwise, Grandmaster will be angry. Okay. They chased after Lu Yan and followed him into the meeting building. There were dozens of people sitting in the hall on the first floor. Sima Yue roughly looked and estimated that there were about 70 to 80 people. Greetings, Sect Master. Everyone stood up and bowed when Lu Yan entered. Everyone sit down. Lu Yan walked straight to the main seat and sat down. Yin Jin also went to his seat and sat down, leaving Sima Yue and the rest standing in the middle. Everyone sat down. A few of them looked at Sima Yue subconsciously when they saw her. Sect Master, what's the matter? Vice Sect Master Mo Wei, who was sitting beside him, asked. 2 days ago, Yanjin came back. When he saw him, he informed all the important people in the sect to gather for a meeting. Even those who were in seclusion were called out. This kind of urgency and grandeur had never happened before. Okay. From now on, she's my disciple. Lu Yan pointed at Sima Yue. What? You actually took in a female disciple? Mo Wei cried out. Why are you? Lu Yan glanced at her, and she swallowed the rest of her words. Sect master, what's so good about this child that you took her as your disciple? Yue, show them that thing. Lu Yan was too lazy to talk nonsense. He directly told her to use her actions to tell everyone the reason. Sima Yue took out the bone flute. When they saw the bone flute, the entire meeting hall was in an uproar. This is a bone flute? Is it really a bone flute? You found the bone flute? Heavens! It really is. Everyone looked at the bone flute, and none of them could remain calm. If Lu Yan wasn't here, they might not even be able to resist the urge to snatch it. Is this a real bone flute? Mo Wei asked. Yes, I've verified it myself. Yanjin said. I know. She used this as a condition to become your disciple? Mo Wei looked at Sima Yue with disdain. However, even if you want to take back the bone flute, you don't have to take her as your disciple. There are many ways for the sound gate to express their gratitude. Sima Yue could feel that this unrealistically beautiful woman was hostile towards her. Was it because she was jealous that she had become her disciple? However, her haughty and charitable look was really unpleasant to look at. The bone flute is mine. Sima Yue spoke up, interrupting Mo Wei's words. I came here because Yanjin said that the sound sect only wants the bone flute to return to the sect. They don't have to take the bone flute back. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have joined the sound gate. She didn't come here to ask for charity. She didn't like it and disdained it. She's right. The bone flute is hers. Lu Yan said. What? You're not taking back the bone flute? Mo Wei exclaimed. How can that be? The meeting hall suddenly quieted down. Everyone hadn't calmed down from the joy of finding the bone flute when they heard this thunderous news. Gatemaster? They looked at Lu Yan, hoping that they had misheard. Just as she said, she has no obligation to return the bone flute. Lu Yan said, the bone flute has been lost for too long. Although it was created by ancestor, what right does she have to return it? But the bone flute has always been the sound gate's treasure. It must be in the sound gate. Mo Wei said firmly. Yes, so she's my disciple now. Since she's my disciple, she's naturally a member of the sound gate. Lu Yan said indifferently. Besides, whether I take in a disciple or not is my own business. Vice Gate Master. Aren't you meddling too much? You. Mo Wei was choked speechless by his words. But he was right. He had the freedom to take in a disciple. No one could interfere. Gate Master. The others still wanted to persuade him. It wasn't about the matter of him taking in a disciple, but about the bone flute. The bone flute was so important. How could he not take it back? You don't have to say anymore. The matter has already been decided. Lu Yan said. Yanjin, bring Yue and the others down and arrange a place for them to stay. Yanjin was a little surprised. How could he, a person who had left the sect for a long time, handle this kind of thing? But thinking that Yue and the others didn't know anyone else, he accepted the order and brought them down. After they left, Mo Wei couldn't help but ask. Lu Yan, you didn't take back the bone flute and still took her as a disciple. Is it because she looks like Jixuan? Hearing Jixuan's name, Lu Yan's body stiffened for a moment. He said indifferently, she is her. Jixuan is Jixuan. Is that so? Other than this reason, I can't think of any other reason that would make you change your attitude and take her as a disciple. You even ignored the sect's many years of hard work and allowed her to keep the bone flute. Oh, then tell me, what should we do? Lu Yan chuckled. But everyone present knew that he was unhappy. However, perhaps Mo Wei was angered by him taking in a disciple. She didn't look at his face. Or perhaps she saw it and ignored it. She snorted and said, she just wants to enter our sound sect. We can just find someone to take her in as a disciple. The bone flute is our most valuable treasure. We should take it back, even if we have to use some necessary means sometimes. Necessary means. Isn't this what you used to do often? In the past, no matter what, you would always think of the sect. How could you allow a stranger to do as she pleases? Mo Wei emphasized the word stranger, indicating that he wasn't normal. Seems like you've thought it through. Lu Yan said. Then do you know who she is? What's her strength? What's her background? Didn't you also not care about this before? Mo Wei sneered. Then do you know who she is? The others heard some clues and asked, Sect Master, what's the background of this girl? She's the Ghost King's granddaughter, Yuku Luo's daughter Sima Yue. Even if she's the Ghost King's daughter, we don't have to be afraid of her. If the Ghost King appears, I'm afraid she'll return the bone flute to us. They were the hidden sect. Even the Ghost King can't easily offend them. I haven't finished speaking. Other than being the little princess personally conferred by the Ghost King, she's also the young mistress of the Nine Nether clan. They just came down from the Nine Nether Mountain before they came. Net. Chapter 2020. Nine Nether Mountain? Are you really talking about that Nine Nether Mountain? The people from Sound Sect did not quite believe it. That Nine Nether Mountain hasn't appeared for a long time, right? Are they really still in the ghost realm? Mo Wei asked. If you don't believe it, and don't want to lose your life, you can try looking for that Chanjiu beside her. Lu Yan said. Go? If that was really the case, then how should they deal with it? If she really is the Nine Nether young master, then we really need to consider it. Someone agreed. I didn't expect her background to be so strong. Also, the two guards beside her, you all saw them just now. Do you feel that their aura is different? Lu Yan asked. Although they have restrained their aura so that people can't detect it, the feeling seems to be different. Why is there a problem with them? There's no problem, but their identities are. They are the left and right envoys of the Underworld King. Since she came to the ghost realm, they have been protecting her. By the way, let me remind you, Chanjiu is also the right envoy of the Nine Nether. Everyone gasped. The three people beside her were so quiet that it was easy to overlook. They actually had identities. Sect Master, is this true? This is too unreal. How could there be someone with such a strong background? You can verify it yourselves. Lu Yan said. If any of you want to make a move on her, you don't have to worry about it on my account. But if anything happens, she won't hold back on my account. Everyone was speechless. Verify it? Was there a need? Lu Yan had never lied to them, and there was no need to lie to them because of this. This disciple recruitment is my own matter. Because you all have put in a lot of effort in managing the sect all these years, I will explain it to you all today. However, I hope you haven't forgotten my previous rules. Alright, you can all disperse. Lu Yan left after she finished speaking, leaving the people from Sound Sect to look at each other. Mo Wei's expression was very ugly. Everyone in the sect knew that she was in a bad mood, so no one dared to provoke her. She also stayed far away from everyone. Mo Wei did not care what others thought of her, and left with a heavy face. After she left, the atmosphere in the meeting hall eased up. Vice Sect Master Mo's aura is really a little unbearable. Sigh, it's because she's unhappy. Great Elder, why is the Vice Sect leader so opposed to the sect leader taking in disciples? Someone asked the question that was on everyone's mind. Speaking of which, there's a reason behind it. Great Elder Jingfu sighed. She's unwilling. Great Elder, don't keep us in suspense. What's going on? Jingfu stroked his long beard and said faintly, that year when the vice headmaster entered our sect, he was young and arrogant and insisted on challenging the headmaster. Since the sect leader had defeated her, she would have to acknowledge the sect leader as her master. At that time, the sect master was still not the young sect master. If he was unwilling to accept a disciple, he naturally could not force it. Moreover, in the eyes of others, the vice sect leader had a noble status. Naturally, only the old sect leader would accept her. From then on, the two of them became martial siblings. How long has it been? Deputy sect leader, you don't have to hold a grudge for so long, do you? It's not over yet. Jingfu chuckled and said, Sect leader had rejected the vice sect leader as a disciple. It would have been fine if that had been the end of it. Who would have thought that after rejecting the vice sect leader, he would take in a female disciple? Oh, it's Jixuan. Of course, the vice sect leader's arrogant heart could not take it. Hence, he made things difficult for Jixuan behind the sect leader's back. Actually, we all know that she likes the sect leader. That's why she was jealous. However, this is a woman's nature. Hence, it was not strange. And then? Later, Jixuan went out on a mission and died. The vice sect leader was the one who asked her to go on that mission. Hence, the sect leader also blamed the vice sect leader. This is also the reason why our sect leader and vice sect leader have been at odds for so many years. Jingfu stroked his beard again and chuckled. How is it? Melodramatic, right? Everyone. Great elder, you have the highest status other than them. You should at least pay attention to your image. No wonder the two of them have been at odds. The sect leader and vice sect leader are at odds. This is making things difficult for your subordinates. Jingfu felt sorry for the stewards. Great elder, if you really care about us, then you should take care of the sect's affairs. Don't let them do everything. Since then, the sect leader has never accepted a female disciple. Today he suddenly accepted Sima Yue as his disciple. Furthermore, she looks a little similar to Jixuan back then. Hence, the vice sect leader naturally wants to cause trouble with him. However, I think it's also because the vice sect leader is used to controlling her. In the past, even if he ignored her, he also ignored others. Now that he suddenly has a female disciple, his heart can't accept it. Jingfu said with a smile of exultation. Everyone looked at him with a whole new level of respect. Great elder, I didn't know that you were a walking gossip. Why didn't I notice your potential in this area before? You're more interested in the affairs between men and women. The sect leader doesn't care about the sex affairs. Now that the vice sect leader is like this, there will be a lot of fun to watch in the future. If you want to watch other people's fun, I think it won't be long before other people come to watch our fun. Let me tell you first. No matter what you think in your heart, Sima Yue is already a member of our sound sect. She is the sect leader's little disciple. Her status is higher than all of you. What will happen to her is the sound sect's affairs. Do you remember clearly? Remember clearly, remember clearly. Thank you, great elder, for your advice. Alright, all of you go. Do your own work. Jingfu waved his hand impatiently at them and chased them away. He snorted in his heart. What a bunch of gossipy people. Yan Jin brought Sima Yue and the rest to look for the steward. Only when he arrived did he remember that the steward was still in a meeting. When he looked for the people below, they didn't know where to arrange for her. In the end, he could only bring them to Lu Yan's courtyard. When Lu Yan returned, she saw the people waiting outside. Didn't I ask you to arrange a place to stay? Sect leader, I haven't lived here for a long time. How would I know which peaks are empty? Wasn't the steward in charge still inside at that time? I had no choice but to bring her back. Yanjin said. Stay at the small peak next to it. Lu Yan said. She looked at Wu Lingyu and the rest and asked, you want to join too? Then go register later. Ordinary people are not allowed to bring guards with them in the secret sect. I don't want to join the sound sect. Wu Lingyu said. We will hide. Huan said. If the three of them wanted to hide, who would be able to find them? So they just ignored them. Anyway, the others also brought their own secret guards. What about these three? Don't Qin Kai have servants? Then I can have 2 servants too, right? Sima Yu asked. Net. Chapter 2021. Lu Yan didn't comment on what she said and didn't say much. She just let Yan Jin bring them to a small mountain nearby. This small mountain was different from the others. Although it had a peak, it was connected to Lu Yan's main peak, so it was considered a single mountain. No one has ever lived on this small mountain before. You're the first. Yan Jin brought them to an empty space and prepared to build a house here. That vice sect leader seems to be very hostile towards me. Do you know why? Sima Yue asked him. What else could it be? She's not jealous. Yan Jin didn't like this vice sect leader. She likes my master? Tell me what's going on. Sima Yue blinked. her eyes full of good intentions. Why are you so nice? Yanjin glanced at her. Everyone has a gossip gene in their body. Not just me, you must have it too. Otherwise, how would you know these things? Sima Yue said. Alright, tell me what's going on. I heard Master mention it before. Back then. What Yanjin said was similar to what Great Elder Jingfu said. The only difference was that he didn't see Zhishuan's face and didn't know that the two looked similar. What a drama. Sima Yue sighed. This woman, once she's blinded by jealousy, it's scary. It's better to stay away from her in the future. Otherwise, she'll do something to me. How miserable would that be? That's not impossible. The sect leader has never taken in a female disciple before, so we don't know to what extent she'll be provoked or what she'll do. Yanjin said. It's better if you avoid her in the future. She came here to learn, not to deal with those boring things. These things should be avoided as much as possible. However, what she didn't know was that when Mo Wei found out that she lived on the small mountain, she was so angry that she crushed the teacup in her hand and cut her palm until it bled. Vice sect leader, you can't do this to yourself. Her maid Lu Su came forward and quickly took the shards from her hand and treated her wound. Mo Wei pulled her hand out coldly and said indifferently, don't worry about it. Vice sect leader, you can be angry, but you can't vent your anger on your own hands. Aren't our hands the most important thing? After Lu Su persuaded her for a while, she took out a pill and handed it to her. Although Mo Wei was angry, she still took the pill and ate it. That's Sima Yue. Why is she so lucky? Why did she look so much like that woman? That woman, even after so many years, I still couldn't pull her out of his heart. All these years I've done so much, but he didn't see it at all. He wasn't touched. Did I feed all those things I made to the dogs? The more Mo Wei spoke, the angrier she got. She threw the porcelain next to her to the ground. The soft sound of porcelain shattering seemed to be the sound of her heart breaking. Lu Su had followed Mo Wei for so many years, but she had never seen her so angry. Even when the sect leader gave her a hard time, she was never this angry. This woman has been dead for so many years, yet she still wants to send someone similar to her to annoy me. Lu Yan did it on purpose. He wants to tell me that he will never forget her in this lifetime. Mo Wei lost control. Her body trembled as she screamed. Vice sect leader, since she's already here, it's useless for you to be angry about this. Why don't we do something? Do something? How? How would I dare to do it? Do you know her background? Mo Wei was most angry about this. If she was just an ordinary woman, she could just think of a way to kill her. However, her background was so strong that she didn't dare to touch her. When she thought about how this woman had to live under her nose, and how he actually let her live in the small mountain, she was so angry that her whole body hurt. Could it be that her background is more honorable than yours? Lu Su asked in surprise. Mo Wei's expression was very bad. When she talked about Sima Yue's background, Lu Su couldn't react for a moment. There was actually someone in the ghost realm who had such a background. No wonder her master was so angry, but didn't think of doing anything to her. She really felt hopeless when she heard about her background. How could such a person be treated the same way as those people? The room was silent for a while. Lu Su said, Vice sect leader, actually, if you want to vent your anger, it's not impossible. What did you think of? You were busy, so I didn't tell you much about the other matters in the sect. However, when I went out today, I heard that she had a grudge with the Beast Tamer Guild. Lu Su said, I heard that she injured the son of the Beast Tamer Guild's vice sect leader and the guards. If it wasn't for the sect leader who went to pick her up, I'm afraid she would have died by now. The sect has never cared about the matters of the sect's disciples. As long as there's some guidance. Mo Wei's expression eased a lot. There was even a faint smile in her eyes. What's going on? Tell me about it. Lu Su saw that she wasn't so irritable anymore, and heaved a long sigh of relief. While she was furious, Sima Yue's side was in full swing. Everyone in the sect knew that she was a person of status, and they all ran over to help. Although they didn't know the details, if even the vice sect leader had to tolerate her, she must be very powerful. Therefore, it was better to build a good relationship with her first. Wu Lingyu saw so many people trying to curry favor, and his face turned sour. It's not the first time you've seen such a scene. Are you still not used to it? Black Shadow teased him. It's none of your business. Wu Lingyu didn't even look at him. Why don't you stay here? It's not bad to learn sound attacks. Black Shadow continued to tease him. Wu Lingyu directly left, leaving him with a faint back view. Black Shadow snorted and saw him walk over to Sima Yue's side. Sima Yue said something and his gloominess disappeared, replaced by a clear sky. Sure enough, she understood him better and knew how to comfort him. Bandit 1 brought 2 people from the bottom of the mountain. When he saw the courtyard she had first seen, he said, "You built it quite quickly. Don't I have so many fellow sect members to help me?" Sima Yue said with a smile. "Why are you here?" "I heard that you're living on a small mountain peak, so I came to take a look." Bandit 1 explained. "You don't know, but the news that someone is living on a small mountain peak has already spread throughout the sect. Sect leader Lu doesn't have any female disciples, so everyone is doing well. Who exactly is it that can gain his favor and let you live so close to him? You're not such a gossipy person." Sima Yue smiled. "Are you here to pick up Lingyu? That's also one of my motives. I've already told sect leader that he wants to see Lingyu. As for you, you shouldn't be there so quickly." Bandit 1 said to Wu Lingyu, "Let's go." Net. Chapter 2022. Wu Lingyu left with Bandit Yi, Huan, Heiying and Danjiu went into hiding. Sima Yue was left with only Fushi, Haishi and Haixing. The people from the sound sect saw that she left the 3 dolls behind and said, "You left the 3 dolls behind. Are they going to take care of you or are you going to take care of them? Why don't we send a few over?" "What do you mean send a few? I think you want to send yourselves over?" Great Elder Jing Fu slapped the person who spoke. "You little brats, hurry up and cultivate. Your martial granduncle will surpass you soon. Martial granduncle's seniority is higher than ours. There's no shame in surpassing us. You're still talking back? Do you want to face the wall and reflect on your mistakes?" Jing Fu blew at his beard, and those people immediately ran away. Sima Yue felt that this old man was quite amusing. "Yue, I didn't get to know you properly that day. I am the great elder of the sound sect, Jing Fu. You can call me Martial Uncle, Great Elder or Elder Fu in the future," Jing Fu said. "Martial Uncle." Sima Yue chose a more intimate form of address. "And I came to see how you're doing here," Jing Fu said. "It's almost done. I just need to decorate the interior," Sima Yue replied. Originally, it would take a few more days, but with so many people coming to help her, the courtyard was built very quickly. They couldn't interfere with the decorations in the house. "Good, if you need anything, just tell the sect." "Oh, tell me, I can help you with the arrangements," Jing Fu said. "Thank you, Martial Uncle. I don't need anything at the moment. If I do, I will definitely look for you," Sima Yue said politely. "That's good." Jing Fu nodded. "Yue, you've been in the sect for a few days. Have you seen the vice sect leader?" Sima Yue understood that this martial uncle was here to gossip, right? Yin Jin said that he was a very gossipy person. Now it seemed that it was true. "The vice sect leader is very busy with the matters at the gate. I've been building the courtyard all this time. How would I have time to meet him?" She smiled and said. "Oh." Sima Yue heard disappointment and anticipation in his reply. "I've heard about the matter between you and the Beast Tamer sect. The people of the Beast Tamer sect aren't magnanimous. Now that you've embarrassed them, they'll definitely find trouble with you," Jing Fu said. "We won't meddle in the affairs of the same generation, but if anyone from the Beast Tamer sect makes a move, you can inform us," the Great Elder said. "Yes, I will." Sima Yue nodded, indicating that she understood. "There are many dangers in the Yin sect. Be careful when you go out," Jing Fu reminded him again before leaving. This guy really doesn't know how to act like an old man. He's already so old, yet he's still so nice to everyone, Fushi said disdainfully. "Uncle Master, it's fine. That cheap master of mine hasn't come even once, but at least he came to see me," Sima Yue said. "All right, Each of you go and choose your own house. Tell me how you want to decorate it. If you don't have it, report it to the sect and let them buy it. All right. The three of them each went to choose a house and took out everything that they already had. Sima Yue replenished some for them and reported the rest to the sect. Very soon, someone came to deliver it to them. When she was almost done tidying up the courtyard, Lu Yan finally remembered her disciple and sent someone to call her over. She also brought her 3 little fellows along. Master. Sima Yue went to Lu Yan's cultivation room. Lu Yan's long hair was draped lazily over her shoulders as she sat behind the zither. Once they entered, Lu Yan stopped playing the zither and looked at the 3 of them, saying, "Have you thought about keeping them by your side?" "Yes, I've thought about it," Sima Yue replied. "Hi family, you should know that since you've made such a decision, it means that you've already thought about the possible troubles that you might encounter. Then I won't ask you about it," Lu Yan said. "As for the other one, although I don't know what your identity is over there, you shouldn't affect the safety of the Yin sect. Otherwise, I wouldn't be protecting you." By saying this, it meant that he agreed for them to stay. "Thank you, Master." Lu Yan let the 3 little fellows leave and said to Sima Yue, "I called you here today to test your talent in this area. I'll play a song and you can tell me what you heard." After saying this, he began to play the zither. This was the second time that Sima Yue heard him play the zither. It was different from the sharp and broken sound this time. This time, his song was much gentler and made people feel relaxed and happy. The people in the Yin sect hadn't heard him play the zither for a long time. In the past, he used other instruments. Although he often held the zither, he rarely let people hear his zither music. This was a quiet and joyful song. After the song ended, the hearts of those who heard it calmed down and went to do their own things happily. Lu Yan could feel the reactions of those people outside. He purposely let them hear it today so that he could be right. However, Sima Yue didn't relax. Instead, she frowned slightly. "What did you hear?" The 2 of them looked at each other. He wanted to see her reaction. Although accepting her as a disciple was already a foregone conclusion, he still wanted to see her talent. He hoped that she wouldn't be too bad. However, she was frowning. Could it be that she didn't hear the concept of the song? "You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you didn't hear anything. Then I'll say it." Sima Yue looked at him and said carefully, "Master, the song you chose is peaceful and cheerful. Even the most impetuous heart will calm down after hearing this song. However what? Is it because I didn't play it well? How can I comment on Master's skills? It's my feeling. When Master played, there was a faint longing in it. When I first heard it, my heart was happy. However, towards the end, it made me a little sad." Lu Yan was stunned for a moment. She actually heard the longing in it. It was a very faint longing. "Very good. You can actually hear the emotions in it." He looked at her approvingly. "Is there anything else?" "I feel that longing is separate from other emotions. The latter is the concept of this song. However, longing is Master's own feelings." Sima Yue said, "Master, are you thinking of someone?" Lu Yan fiddled with the zither again and said, "I thought of your senior sister. At that time, she also casually sat in front of me like you. She supported her cheeks with both hands. Even the smile in her eyes was very similar. Company commander was also somewhat similar. It made him a little absent-minded." Chapter 2023. Master, are you talking about senior sister Jixuan? I've heard Yanqing mention her before. Sima Yue said, "Master, you've been brooding over her death, and you've been blaming yourself, right? Did you hear this from the zither too?" Lu Yan did not deny it. "Most of it, I guess the rest." Sima Yue said, "Master, there's no lingering feelings between lovers in your thoughts, so it shouldn't be that you like her as they said. Senior sister has been dead for so many years, but you still can't let it go. The biggest possibility is that you're blaming yourself." Lu Yan sighed softly. "Back then, I knew that Mo Wei was restless, but I still let her go out with everyone. If she had stayed behind the door that time, this wouldn't have happened. I don't know what happened back then, but Master, it's been so many years, you should let it go." Sima Yue persuaded. Your way of comforting people is different from others. Others would say that this matter has nothing to do with me, that I don't need to blame myself, and that I shouldn't think so much. Why do you only ask me to let it go? Her way of persuading was basically saying that what happened back then was his fault. No one would persuade someone like that. Yes, everyone else is persuading you like that, so you blame yourself more and more, and you've trapped yourself in it. No matter what the reason was back then, and whose fault it was, so much time has passed, it's time to let these things disappear in the years. Disappear in the years? Lu Yen murmured. Yes, time is the most tolerant thing in the world, more tolerant than the vicissitudes of life. We don't know what will happen in the future, let the past settle down with time. Sima Yoyue's voice was charming, as if she had seen the vicissitudes of life. But it was true, she had even seen the origin of life, so she had seen the vicissitudes of life. Moreover, she had experienced life and death a few times, so she was more open-minded about these things. When she spoke, it was more emotional and had a kind of convincing power. She noticed that Lu Yen was gradually entering a state of emptiness. So she casually set up a barrier, and then carefully retreated. She said to the guard outside, "Master is comprehending, don't let anyone in to disturb him." The guard was a little suspicious. How could she have comprehended it after chatting with her for a while? A guard went to the door and took a look. Seeing that Lu Yen had indeed entered a state of enlightenment, and that there was a barrier protecting the room, he retreated and nodded to the other guards. Everyone immediately entered a state of emergency to ensure that from this moment on, until Lu Yen came out herself, no one would be able to enter this room. Sima Yu brought the 3 children back to her own courtyard. Before she had time to rest, a group of people swarmed up like a swarm of bees. As soon as Jingfu came up, she asked her, "Yue, what did you say to the leader?" "We were just chatting casually. We didn't say anything." Sima Yue did not expect to cause such a huge commotion. Moreover, everyone came to ask her questions. Just casually chatting? A casual chat could make him not comprehend anything for decades, but he just had to comprehend it today? Mo Wei mocked. Sima Yue was furious. Wasn't she implying that something had happened between her and Lu Yen? She sneered. Then according to what Vice Leader said, what should I have said and done with Master? Mo Wei almost blurted out but swallowed her words. If she followed her words, she did not know what others would think of her. There were some words that she could think but could not say. What did we talk about? Sima Yue asked. At that time there were only the 2 of you. What you said and did, of course, only the 2 of you know. Mo Wei said calmly. If that's the case, why didn't Vice Leader believe me when I said that we were just chatting casually? Sima Yue said. I just felt that chatting casually would not have such a big effect. Mo Wei defended herself. Vice Leader, you're wrong. Enlightenment usually happens when you're chatting casually. A sentence, a word, or even a picture, a tree, or a blade of grass, can make someone comprehend something. If it's done deliberately, it won't have any effect. Yue is right. Enlightenment always happens when you're not paying attention. Jingfu agreed with her point of view. But can you tell us about your conversation? Sure. Sima Yue started from Lu Yen playing the zither, and repeated the conversation between the 2. When they heard that it was about Jishuan, everyone showed an expression of understanding. Lu Yen had not advanced for a long time. It was not that his spiritual power was not enough, but that he had a knot in his heart. This was something that everyone in the Sound sect was well aware of. At first, no one took Jishuan's matter seriously. But slowly, everyone realized that something was wrong. As time passed, Lu Yen could not let go of it. Now it had become a knot in his heart. If the knot in his heart could not be untied, he would not be able to advance. Lu Yen did not say it before. They had guessed it and told him a lot. They advised him a lot. But it was useless. After so many years, it's still because of Jishuan. Jingfu stroked his beard. Although we guessed it, we couldn't help sect leader resolve this knot in his heart. It's really shameful. Isn't it because she looks like Jishuan? That's why he would listen to her. Mo Wei did not want to admit her mistake and said. Sima Yue was surprised. Looking at Jingfu and the others' reaction, she knew that this was true. No matter what, it's good that sect leader can untie the knot in his heart. If he can advance this time, it'll be even better. Jing Fu changed the topic. Even if he did not advance this time, as long as the knot in his heart was untied, there would be a chance in the future. That's right. Let's go to sect leader's place and see if we can do anything. Sima Yue could not wait for them to leave. She did not even ask them to stay. Yanjin stayed and said that he was going back. Didn't you say that you were going to stay in the sect for a while? The sound sect asked me to go back. I'm the second sect leader. I can't just ignore them, Yanjin said. Speaking of the sound sect, Sima Yue remembered what happened in the immortal witchcraft city. She said seriously, although we're in the same sect now, if I find out what happened in the immortal witchcraft city again, I won't be lenient. I know, Yanjin said. When I go back, I'll call everyone back from the ghost realm. We won't expand there in the future. So you're saying that there are still people from the ghost realm? I can't tell you that. Yanjin smiled. If I tell you, they won't be able to live. Pfft, I won't tell you if you don't want to. Sima Yue did not expect him to say, but you have to be careful when you go back this time. I'm afraid that the evil soul will bring you trouble. If it doesn't work, just tell them that I have it. I'm in the secret sect anyway. They can't do anything to me. Chapter 2024. Yanjin heard her words and raised his eyebrows. Junior Master wants to protect me? You call me Junior Master, of course I want to protect you, Sima Yue said. But I think with your personality, you won't do that. Sueha won't do anything to me because of him, Yanjin said confidently. Then what about the people behind him? If he could pull strings, it meant that his background was very strong. They don't know that he's with me. If they know, I'll tell them about you. Anyway, you're the one who's going against him. At most, I won't be able to protect him, Yanjin joked. Sima Yue knew that he was capable and knew when to yield, so she didn't have to worry too much about him. When are you leaving? I told you I'm leaving. Is Bandit E going with you? Yes. Then be careful on your way. You too. There are still many dangers in the Yin sect. I know. Yanjin left and Bandit E left. There were 2 less people she knew in the sect. Lu Yan went into seclusion and no one taught her. She brought the 3 little ones to cultivate in the courtyard. Everyone in the Yin sect wanted to see her who had caused so much trouble, but they didn't expect her to not come out. She didn't treat the sect well at all. She didn't leave the sect for 2 months. Was her heart really as calm as water? She didn't even see the 3 little ones by her side. Really? Why was she like an adult at such a young age? She didn't treat anything well. Tell me, why didn't Sima Yue come out? Is she afraid that those people will do something to her? Konohachi sat in Jianen Xian's courtyard bored. It was too quiet in the sect recently. Those troublemakers weren't there, so there was no show to watch. Do you think she's that kind of person? Jianen Xian asked. Konohachi thought about it and said, from what happened last time, she's not. But she hasn't come out for so long, so people can't help but think so. Xian, what do you think? If it were you, would you stay in the sect for so long? Jianen Xian asked. Of course not, I'd go crazy. Unless I'm in seclusion and don't know how much time has passed. Konohachi said. You have a carefree personality, so you can't stand to cultivate day after day. Therefore, not leaving the mountain for a few months could mean that she is timid and afraid of trouble, or it could also mean that she has a calm temperament. Jianen analyzed. What else? Do you think she's the second type? She has just arrived at the Sound sect and was accepted as a disciple by sect leader Lu. Has he accepted any female disciples all these years? No. Therefore, there must be a reason why sect master Lu took her in. Jiananshin analyzed. I heard that sect master Lu's breakthrough this time was due to a short conversation with her. That seems to be the case. That's what everyone is saying. Tell me, how did she do it? We don't know how she did it, but we do know about sect master Lu. Although I don't know the reason, there's a knot in his heart that he can't let go of. That's why he can't comprehend it and advance his cultivation. Jia Nanxing continued. Under such circumstances, she was able to enlighten him with just a single conversation. That's enough to show how amazing she is. Do you think such a person would hide behind a mountain gate because she's afraid? All right, after your analysis, it doesn't seem like it. Konohachi said. Sai, if she doesn't come out, those people can't find trouble with her. If you want to see her, you can go look for her directly. Jia Nanxing said. No matter how emotional you are, you won't be able to see her at my place. I don't want to see her. I'm just telling her. Don't I know you? Jia Nanxing gave him a look to surrender. He pursed his lips and said, Let's go then. Since she knew what he was thinking, she knew his motive as well. Jia Nanxing stood up and walked out. They were not the only ones who treated Sima Yue well. Everyone in the secret sect treated her very well. However, they did not have any interactions with her, and had no reason to see her. When Sima Yue heard that Jia Nanxing and the others were looking for her, she was stunned for a moment. Then, she let the messenger bring them in. Sima Yue, why are you holed up here and not going out? If you don't go out, I won't be able to watch the show. Konohachi complained when he saw her. Sima Yue remembered that this guy helped her in the small town, because he wanted to watch the show. However, after so long he still did not come out, so he came looking for her? So it's the two geniuses from the formation sect. She received the two in the courtyard and waved her hand to signal them to go to the living room. In front of Wu Lingyu, the two of us are not worthy of being called geniuses, Jia Nanxing said. She saw the tea set in the pavilion in the courtyard and said, Are you drinking tea? Yes, I'm talking to the little one about cultivation. I'm thirsty. Then let's sit in the courtyard. After saying that, he walked over. Sima Yue had no choice but to bring the two to the pavilion. She put away the tea set and made tea for the two of them. Konohachi saw that she was making tea and asked, You don't have a maid here? No, it's just me and the three children, Sima Yue said. When you're with the three children, it's not them who take care of you. It's you who takes care of them. Konohachi had never seen someone like her. If she did not bring a maid or a servant, if she did not come alone, she was the first to bring a child. However, the tea is not bad. If I had a maid, you wouldn't be able to drink this tea. Sima Yue said. Did the two of you come here today to ask me this? Yes. If you don't go out, no one will dare to look for you here. Otherwise, it's not looking for trouble, it's looking for death, Konohachi said. You've been here for more than 2 months. Don't tell me you don't treat the insect well? A little. Then why don't you go out and take a look? There's no rush. I'll go when I have time. Are you waiting for your master to come out? Even if your master successfully comes out, he won't care about you. That's not the reason. I'm here to learn. Of course, I have to study first. When I'm tired, I'll go out. This is called balancing work and rest. You've been studying for more than 2 months and you're not tired yet. I've just started, so I'm very interested. Actually, Sima Yue knew that these were all excuses. She just did not want to go out. It was not that she was afraid of trouble, but she did not want to deal with it now and waste her time. Unless she had no other choice, she would not go out. You're so young. Why do you have the mentality of an old woman? Sima Yue smiled but did not say anything. There were some things that she could not tell others. At this moment, the spiritual energy in the air suddenly exploded and swarmed towards Lu Yan's courtyard. It formed a whirlpool and entered his room. Chapter 2025. There was a huge commotion here, and the entire insect was shaken. After so many years, he finally advanced again. Insect's sect master Ning Tianya looked in the direction of the small mountain, and said emotionally, Yes, after so many years, he finally let it go. An old man was studying the chessboard on the table, and looked up at the small mountain. Wasn't that the face of the boss of the small town's inn? I heard that it was his new disciple who helped him get rid of the knot in his heart. Ning Tianya asked. That's right. That little girl is a smart child. The innkeeper said. I thought that it was good enough that she helped him get rid of those things, but I didn't expect that she could help him advance. So you've seen her? Yes, she stayed at my place for a few days. The innkeeper said. A girl that even you praise. Looks like I can meet her. Ning Tianya was interested in Sima Yue. What are you going to do? You'll scare the little girl for no reason. The innkeeper said faintly. I won't ask her to come here. Ning Tianya said. I can't just meet her anywhere. All right, then you can dress up as an old man who sweeps the floor. That won't scare her. The innkeeper teased him. This isn't impossible. You're also bored. Aren't you the same? Otherwise, why would you run outside and become an innkeeper? We're all the same. Let's not talk about each other. Ning Tianya looked at the small mountain again. Looks like you've succeeded. General. Sima Yue looked at the commotion and smiled. She didn't expect him to really advance. I still have something to do, so I won't entertain the two of you. Originally, they didn't have anything to do, but when they saw the situation, they knew that Lu Yan was about to advance. Naturally, they couldn't stay any longer and left after bidding farewell. Sima Yue went to Lu Yan's courtyard, and all the important people in the sect were there. When they saw her, everyone greeted her. Not to mention that she helped Lu Yan advance. She was Lu Yan's little disciple and her seniority was higher than many people. She came to Jing Fu's side and asked, Martial uncle, with master's condition can he succeed? Looking at the situation, he should have succeeded. Jing Fu said, the spiritual energy in his body is sufficient, even more than enough. It's only because of the knot in his heart that he hasn't been able to advance. The accumulation from before was just enough to ensure that he had enough strength to break through the barrier. These vortexes of spirit power are the replenishment of his body's energy after his advancement. It's good that you succeeded. Right now, we can't be completely sure that we've succeeded. Many people have regressed after reaching this step. We have to. Jing Fu felt that she had jinxed it. Before she could finish her sentence, something had already happened. The turbulent energy suddenly began to sway, and the vortex began to shrink, even showing signs of dissipating. Martial uncle, what's going on? Sima Yue asked. The sovereign's advancement requires too much spiritual energy, and the spiritual energy here is not enough to supply it, so it's not enough for the follow-up. Jing Fu shouted. Sima Yue knew what would happen if he ran out of spiritual energy. If Lu Yan did not absorb enough energy, he would fail the advancement. The energy he absorbed just now was enough for him to advance. Why is there still a situation where there is insufficient energy? Someone shouted. Don't think too much. Quickly think of how to replenish the sovereign's energy. Jing Fu shouted. It would be great if we could absorb all this spiritual energy. Sima Yue looked at the vortex that was getting smaller and smaller. She only hesitated for 2 seconds before leaping onto the roof, right in the middle of the vortex. Why did she go there? Does she think that she can attract spiritual energy from there? Lu Su mocked. No one knew what Sima Yue was doing there. At this moment, other than gathering the surrounding spiritual energy faster, doing anything else was futile. What is she looking at? If she's here, will it affect the sovereign's advancement? Should we pull him down? Go. Is the sovereign's advancement something that she can interfere with? The situation is very dangerous now. It's not the time for her to play around. Mo Wei shouted coldly. Wait. Jing Fu stopped Lu Su, who was about to grab Sima Yue. She's making a move. Sima Yue took out some array stones and threw them around the house. Many people could tell that she was setting up an array. Mo Wei turned to Jing Fu and shouted, Great Elder, what do you mean by this? Are you going to let her do as she pleases? Her presence doesn't affect the spiritual energy. Why don't we see what she's going to do? Jing Fu said. Or do you have a way to help the sovereign absorb the spiritual energy? Mo Wei was speechless. What could she do now? The spiritual energy wouldn't gather here just because of her music. Since you don't have a way, we can only put our hopes on her. Jing Fu looked at Sima Yue, hoping that she really had a way. Mo Wei had no other way. Since Jing Fu said so, Sima Yue wouldn't be affected by her presence. She could only let her do as she pleased. She had set up this array many times. When she was in vast region, it was very difficult for her to set it up. Now that her strength had increased and she was familiar with the array, she was able to set it up very quickly. Then, she took out a spirit-gathering pearl and placed it in the eye of the array. Once the spirit-gathering pearl was in place, the entire array was activated. Everyone present could feel the spiritual energy from the surroundings rushing towards them. The whirlpool gradually grew bigger. Spirit-gathering array. A cry of surprise came from outside the courtyard. Then two people came out from the space. Sovereign Hu, why are you here? Emma Wei greeted them. She knew these two people. They were the sovereign of the array sect, Hu, and the sovereign of the spirit-seeking sect, Lu. We felt that the spiritual energy from his advancement wasn't enough, so we came to see if there was anything we could do to help. But now, it seems that we don't need to do anything. Hu said. Many thanks to the two of you. I didn't expect such a perfect spirit-gathering array to be set up by a little girl like her. She set it up very quickly and the array is very stable. It seems like her array skills are just like what Fei said. Her foundation is very good. Hu Hai looked at Sima Yue with interest. What, you want to snatch her away from us? Jing Fu was unhappy. This guy's gaze was too strange. There's no rule that says people who join the sound sect can't join the array sect. Hu said. It meant that he really had this idea. After Sima Yue finished setting up the array, she stopped in the air. Although the spiritual energy had increased, it still wasn't enough. She had already reached this stage. If she failed again, then all her efforts would be wasted. Although the sect didn't care about the fights between disciples, with a powerful master, her life would be more peaceful in the future. Thinking of this, she took out a piece of ore that she hadn't opened yet. Chapter 2026. Or, what else does Yue want to do? No matter what she wants to do, it should be helpful to the sect master. Jing Fu trusted Sima Yue very much and wasn't worried that anything would happen to her. Lu looked at the ore and narrowed his eyes. Hu saw his subtle reaction and said, Is that ore very rare? From the surface of the stone, it should be an ancient ore. However, we need to examine it closely to know what's inside. Sima Yue's sudden action made his breath catch and he wanted to curse. How could she waste an ore like this? She didn't use any tools and directly used spiritual energy to open it. Wasn't this wasting the ore? As a seeker spirit master, his lungs were about to explode from anger when he saw this. Sima Yue threw away the surface of the stone and revealed the intact spirit stone inside, blocking Li's anger. So powerful, she actually opened the ore like this. This is the first time I've seen someone open the ore like this. She's so powerful. The people of the sound sect now felt that Sima Yue was indeed outstanding. Not to mention her sound attack. Just her array and seeker spirit master were enough to make people look up to her. What's the use of opening the spirit stone at this time? Is she trying to show off? Lu Su's voice was neither loud nor soft. She seemed to be talking to herself, but everyone could hear her. The sect master of the seeker spirit sect was here. If she could gain his approval, she could even go there to learn. Therefore, Lu Su said this because she wanted everyone to think in this direction. However, no one followed her words. Although they also knew why she did this at this time. Only Lu knew. Sima Yue inserted the spirit stone into the center of the array, which happened to be at the center of the whirlpool. A majestic amount of spiritual energy poured out from the spirit stone, and was absorbed by Lu Yan along with the spiritual energy in the air. The spirit stone was only the size of 2 fists, but it actually had an endless amount of spiritual energy. It wasn't any less than the spiritual energy in the air. This spirit stone. Needless to say, it was priceless. Sima Yue flew down from the sky. With the spirit gathering array and the spirit stone, it should be enough. You already knew what was inside the ore? Lu asked her. Sima Yue did not know who he was, but since he came at this time, they should be close. I know. I've been studying that ore for a long time, she replied. Do you know that if you directly open the stone, it's very likely that you'll damage it? As a seeker spirit master, don't you feel heartache for treating ores like this? Lu asked again. I knew it would be bad. Actually, I was also surprised that the meeting went so well. Sima Yue was also surprised by this result. I initially thought that it would be a little worse, but even so, the spiritual energy is still inside the spirit gathering array, and it won't leak out. So that was her plan. They really thought that she had absolute confidence in herself. With Sima Yue's help, Lu Yan's advancement went smoothly. 2 days later, he successfully exited his seclusion. Congratulations, Sect Master, for successfully advancing. The people of the Sound Sect were all waiting outside. When they saw him coming out, they congratulated him in unison. Lu Yan nodded at them, then turned her gaze to Sima Yue. Sima Yue smiled at him. Congratulations, Master. Thank you. He thanked her for untying the knot in his heart. He thanked her for what she did for him. When he advanced, he felt that his spiritual energy was insufficient. He originally thought that he would fail this time, but then he felt the power outside and knew what Sima Yue did for him. It was because of the spiritual energy that she attracted to him that he was able to advance smoothly. Therefore, he was grateful to her from the bottom of his heart. This kind of gratitude could not be expressed with words. I'll talk to you later, Lu Yan said to her. This meant that he wanted to talk to her alone. Sima Yue nodded and stood behind him. She followed him and watched those people congratulate him. The people of the Sound Sect had a good celebration. The other sects also sent gifts. After 2 days of excitement, the Sound Sect finally calmed down. Lu Yan prepared to chat with Sima Yue, but before he could say anything, he was called by the sect master. Before he left, he told Yue that the Formation Sect and Seeker Spirit Sect's sect master invited her to be a guest. Lu Yan went to Ning Tianya's place. She returned to her courtyard and saw Wu Lingyu, who was waiting there. Why are you here? She smiled and went to greet him. I'm here under orders this time. Wu Lingyu pinched her face. You caused such a big commotion and successfully attracted the sect master's attention. He wants to talk to you. I didn't want to either. Who knew that such a situation would happen? Sima Yue smiled. If master advances in rank, wouldn't my protective umbrella become even more powerful? Sect master and I was also attracted by you, so she wanted to invite you over. I've already sent away the person who came, Wu Lingyu said. What happened? Needless to say, the person who came was definitely a man, and he was not bad-looking. However, there was no need to fuss over such a small matter. I'll go when I'm free. Then I'll go when I'm free, Sima Yue said. Shall we go to your place now? Okay. After agreeing, they left the mountain gate half a day later, and went to the Array sect. She talked to the Array sect master for a long time. Although he did not say that she would join the Array sect immediately, she could go to the Array sect to learn at any time. After coming out of the Array sect, Wu Lingyu wanted to send her back, but Sima Yue refused. I'm going to the Sun Ling sect, she said. I haven't come out for so long. Some people are anxious and think that I'm afraid of them. We have to give them a chance no matter what. Okay. Be careful. Wu Lingyu sent her to the mountain gate and went back. She leisurely went to the Sun Ling sect alone. After Enai knew that she was coming, he asked someone to invite her to his place. I thought that you wouldn't come today, Enai said. Sect Master Enai invited me. How can I not come? Sima Yue smiled and bowed. Aren't you afraid of trouble? Regardless of whether I come out or not, the trouble will be there and it won't disappear. The beast tamers would not give her trouble just because she did not come out. They would only hate her more. Your words are quite philosophical, Enai said. I just happened to get some ores today. I haven't appraised them yet. Do you want to come with me? Okay. Sima Yue accepted his invitation and followed him to the place where they kept the ores. The place where the Sun Ling sect kept the ores was in a very big hall. It was divided into many small compartments. The small compartments did not have doors and one could see the ores inside. Sima Yue meowed over and found that there were many good things inside. What do you think of this place? Enai asked. It's not bad. It's all good stuff, Sima Yue replied. Then are you interested in coming here? If you come, you can appraise all these ores. Chapter 2027. Sima Yue smiled. I've only been apprentice for 2 to 3 months. Master told me to study hard. You're still young. You have plenty of time. And Nilo was not angry at her rejection. I want to study hard too, but I shouldn't bite off more than I can chew. Let's take it slow. I'll learn other things in the future if I have the chance. Sima Yue said. If you want to learn in the future, you can come over anytime. As long as I'm still the sect leader. And Nilo said. Okay. Sima Yue said. Come and take a look. These were moved back today. And Nilo brought her to a small cubicle and pointed at the oars in the cubicle. Although it was called a small cubicle, each one was as big as a football field and more than 10 stories high. There were many oars on the ground. The big ones were almost at the top while the small ones were only the size of a fist. A few spirit masters were appraising the oars. Sima Yue thought that Enai Lu was just being polite when he said that the oars had just arrived today. She did not expect it to be true. The oars were of different grades and did not have the spirit-seeking sex label. So they had just returned and had not been classified yet. The people in the cubicle saw them and immediately stopped to bow, saying, Sect leader. Go and do your own things. I'll bring Yue to take a look. And Isla said. Grandmaster, is this the Yue who has been the talk of the town recently? A man in a green robe looked at Sima Yue and asked. Yes. And Isla nodded and then introduced to Sima Yue. This is my disciple Liancheng. Liancheng cupped his hands towards Sima Yue saying, I've always been good at opening stones with my bare hands. Those people say that our spirit seeker sex people are all powerful. Since we've met today, can you let us experience it? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Was this a provocation? The Beast Tamers Guild had not come to find trouble with her, but they had met here first. Hee hee, you've been too famous recently. The little guys in the sect are not convinced. And Isla smiled. Don't worry about them. Grandmaster, even you said that her spirit-seeking technique is better than ours. Since that's the case, there's nothing wrong with showing off a little. Why don't we try it? Liancheng said. You. And Isla glared at him. This brat was young and impetuous. He couldn't control his temper. You said it was said by someone else. Rumors can't be trusted. Sima Yue didn't come here to show off. She didn't want to suppress other people's geniuses in their territory, nor did she want to lose. Therefore, it was better not to do anything. Besides, there's no such thing as opening a rock with bare hands. It's just that the situation is critical, and I can't afford to slowly try it out. If you don't believe me, you can ask Sect Master and I if this is the case. I've already used that excuse of yours, but martial ancestors said that although the situation at the time was critical, and there was also the thought of damaging the spirit energy in the spirit gathering formation, your method of opening the stone was very accurate, and you didn't open it casually. Liancheng said. Are you unwilling because you think that you'll be embarrassed if you win against me here? The corner of Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She really wanted to ridicule him. Child, don't say it even if you see through it. Even if you know what I'm thinking, don't say it out loud. Why did she feel like she was looking at a brat when she saw his serious face? You don't have to be merciful. Just do what you need to do. If I lose, it's because I'm not as skilled as others. I won't blame you. Liancheng said. Let go of him. And Isla said. This child's talent is all right. He's just a little arrogant. If we don't take him down a notch, who knows what he'll do in the future? Sima Yue hesitated for a while, then nodded and said, all right. This Liancheng was indeed a little arrogant to provoke her so rudely, and Isla also looked a little worried. Then what should we do? Liancheng asked with a smile. The simplest way. Let's each pick one, and see who has the highest value, Sima Yue said. We'll do as you say. Liancheng agreed. Since this batch of oars came today, let's choose from them. All right. She and Liancheng walked to a small cubicle and looked at all the oars. Then, they went to a small cubicle at the side. There were a lot of oars here. Liancheng took her to look around and said, That's all we have today. Ladies first. Sima Yue wanted to pick one randomly, but decided against it. If she lost, the other party would think that she let them win on purpose. If she won, they would think that it was luck. It would seem disrespectful. Hence, she walked back and forth twice, then chose an oar the size of a basketball. It's your turn. Lien Chung had already looked through the oars when he was accompanying her to choose. Now that it was his turn, he compared the oars he chose. The two of them didn't spend much time. When the onlookers saw that they chose their oars so quickly, they wondered which one of them had the highest value. Open the oars. Anila said, "Who's going first?" "Me," Lien Chung said. When gambling on oars, they would choose to open their oars first to show respect. Of course, it was also because they were super confident in themselves. Sima Yue looked at Lien Chung. There was no disdain in his eyes. It seemed that there were both reasons. Then open yours first. There was no need to fight over such things. They took the oars to the oars opening. The oars were carefully opened. Blackwood spirit stone. Not bad. Anila smiled and nodded. Open the next one. Someone placed Sima Yue's spirit stone in front of the oars opening. With just one cut, it shone brightly. Everyone present widened their eyes. Lien Chung was even more stunned. Do you want to continue? The master raised his head and asked. When the oars were opened, there was a strange phenomenon. Needless to say, it was obvious who had won. Open it. Lien Chung ordered. Even though he knew the result, he still lost arrogantly. He couldn't just stop like this. He had to see the final result. Soon Sima Yue's oars were opened. It was 2 grades higher than his. I lost. He admitted straightforwardly. Choosing oars is a matter of probability. It can't be accurate even if you try once or twice. Sima Yue said. Sect leader and I've been out for a long time. I'll take my leave first. Okay, I'll get someone to send you back. Anila said. Come back when you're free. Okay. Sima Yue turned and left. Sima Yue, can I see how you open the oars with your bare hands? If it breaks, it's on me. Lien Chung took out an oar. It was his own. Sima Yue turned around and smiled at him, saying, If you don't make me angry next time. Lien Cheng's face fell. He seemed to have offended her. Sima Yue came out of the Sun Ling sect. She declined Li's kind offer and slowly walked towards the Sound sect. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.